This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Yo! Oh, there it is. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen there. Here, this is what I'm going to be on. Hold on a second. Right here. The freak screen. Alright. Awesome. Yeah. So the first hour of the show, it's, we raise, it's just like any other night, but it's like when all the freaks we make one last push, and then I see what I can donate from the channel income at the end. All right, so that's what we do for the first hour. If you haven't been here before. Oh, and thanks Lilia and Miss Angels. Yeah, and after all the 3 years since January 2020, from the income from the channel, like you guys support my channel with super chats and channel memberships, and that allows me to keep doing the shows every single night, 3 to 4 hours a day shows, not to mention putting it all together. And then at the end of the month, I donate usually over 50% of the net revenue to charities, and we've got up to $100,000 since 2020. Thanks, Sherlock Hemlock. I was like, wow, what happened? Normally it starts off like a slot machine in here on tonight. Thank you, Sherlock Hemlock. Yep, so if you buy some merchandise or something like that, a cup or a mug or whatever, you can be, send me the picture and you can be up there on the screen. The freaks. Some pretty interesting stuff out there today. Hey, thank you very much, Amber Maiden. Very cool. Thank you. Yep, and also we're going to be spinning for the each of the channel membership levels. There's some spinning to do too. So hey, thank you so much, you guys. Tomorrow, not today, but tomorrow. Here, let me see if I can turn on the hold on. Shit. Let me go to a different window. Gotta catch some of these. Some people are offended that we donate 100,000. It's really wild. There should have been more, they say. It's like, well, how much did you do? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And wow, thanks so much, Ali Cake. I think the sound is working. I don't know though. Hold on. Oops, shit. Got the message there. Oh, there we go. Yeah. And thank you very much, Cairo. Did it show the image on the screen? So Allie Kick said, Gray, so thankful for all you have done and the mods and family emotional night. I remember so many cases. Thanks for helping me through hard times. Ah, well, thank you. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that actually watch, you know, the shows. Even during COVID, we were, you know, every night, it's like a family in here. It's awesome. I don't know, it skipped some of these ones, but hey, thanks, Marilyn Riley and Eugenie. Let me read the other ones up there. Hold on. Amber said, thank you, Gray. I'm so proud of you, my friend, for creating this family community. Thank you for allowing me to be part of it. 100,000. Just wow. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Then Sherlock Hemlock said, hello, dearest freaks in Gray. I've been busy, but never want to miss donation night. Well, that's so nice of you. Thank you. And Cairo said, things 100,000 can buy. An on-call chef for a year. A private island. A 16 Dodge Viper GT. 4 days in a presidential suite at the Hotel Cala di Volpe. We did more than any of that crap above. That's exactly right. Thank you, Kathy Freudenmaker. And hold on. In the PayPal world, we've got Matt. Let's see. First was Diane. She says, "Hi, Gray. Just wanted to donate. Love your show and all the hard work. And you know, double cat eye. Thank you very much." And Stacy Millicey.
I'll be Chewbacca if you
A
want.
cat eye. Thank you very much. She said, "No, for donation now." And Plato. Towards our 100,000. All right.
I'll be Chewbacca if you want.
And then Mag with a crazy generous donation, but it was very cool. I'm hoping to make it to your live show, but just in case I don't, thank you for being a channel with integrity and honest caring of victims. You work so hard and it's appreciated. Thank you. Mag there. Then let's see. Then Elizabeth, hold on, let me get my music playing again. Well, let me put this music on. It's better. There we go. That's better. Elizabeth Jansen, a little bit towards the 100K. Thank you very much. Then Nicole Bennett, thank you. And Mag again. Very generous. Miss Angels, and Lillian, and don't forget Nancy. And then WNC Granny also. Thank you. Scroll down, missed all these. Now I gotta catch up on here, hold on. Alright. So where were we up here? We got Alley Cake, Cairo, Kathy Freudenmaker. this is the one. Right? Yeah, it's so hard to. I think that's the one. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Marilyn Riley, Eugenie. Thank you, Eugenie.
Ray, so thankful for all you have done, and the mods and family. Emotional night. I remember so many cases. Thanks for helping me get through hard times.
Oh, so it's making up for some of those older, the ones from earlier. How weird. 709 something. What does it say right there? Thank you very much, Eugenie.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Thanks.
Carolyn
for everything. So happy
EHS.
to finally make alive.
Yeah, very cool. Wayne Doom. Tina Susser. One Sly Angel.
Thank you and the mods for all you do. Underscore basic generous colon underscore basic generous colon underscore.
Mary
basic
Glaviano.
generous.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do
Chewbacca if you want me to do it.
Congratulations on 100,000.
Yeah, well, no, it's all you guys are the ones that make it happen. I do the show. Whoa! Quietly frozen. You quietly froze me just now. What the hell is that?
Hey, great.
Thanks, Laurie. Quietly frozen. The coolest name in YouTube history. Wow, thanks so much. That's
Congratulations,
amazing.
Freaks. Happy donation night.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just gonna put a whole bunch in. It's hard to count that many, but you got a lot. Wow. Well, thank you so much. Quietly Frozen. The coolest name in YouTube history. Thank you very much, Jody H. Yeah. So the thing is you know, we've been doing this for 3 years now, and the freaks allow me to actually, you know, make an income on the channel, but at the same time, I'm not one of, it's such a great feeling to be able to, you know, to give so much of it back. You know, there's no ad revenue on YouTube whatsoever for live streamers. You know, by the time the show's over, they give you this warning thing, then you have to apply, and then by that time's over, nobody's going to watch your live again. They're on to the next day, right? Do you ever go back and watch 4 days ago, you know, Sean Hannity or something? I never watched Sean Hannity. Great. Well, okay, whatever. But you don't go back and watch some live. It just never happens. So the live streaming, we completely rely on channel memberships and ad revenue. I mean, not ad. There's no ad revenue, and super chats and channel memberships. And PayPal, I used a lot of the PayPal I use for augmenting the donations. There's not as much revenue that comes in through PayPal, but I also use it for if I have to go out to CrimeCon or buy equipment or something like that.
Yargex 1000, smiley face.
Barbara Ann, facts and truth. That's why I'm here. Well, cool. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, so the thing is, what I think is cool is like you guys don't go, God, Gray, you suck. You thought it was more likely a suicide in that case, right? Because the evidence that we had at the time. So here's the thing. I talked to the detective, and in that conversation, he mentioned some things, not the precise, you know, it's hard to explain it. He mentioned something, and that's exactly what I was wanting to have that would change everything. And that is exactly, he didn't tell me specifically, but you know what I'm saying. Like they don't tell you precisely something. Okay, and that's why now I'm just like, okay, boom, that's a homicide, right? Now other people are like, you know, that you don't like somebody, so you just keep going and going and going, and that's not really good enough evidence to choose something or not. That's why I wasn't sure. Right? I was like 80-20. First, it was a weird evolution in this case. First, I was suicide right off the bat because it just seemed like it was just like another case. And then they said, we've ruled out this and that. And they claimed they said that, but nobody actually wrote that. And then I switched over to homicide. But then when I realized that nobody actually said that, and then the surveillance footage came out, it switched me back to the suicide side because she bought all those items and they were found at the scene. Then the press conference this morning, it's like every single item is found there. So it almost kind of enhanced it, but they were so set on their wording that it was a murder that, that's when I said, I'm going to go call over there. And I just got fortunate that the guy actually answered the phone, the same guy in the press conference. Thanks, Lynn. And by the way, Lynn's right in the middle of the storm in Florida. She's, sends me videos. She was on the news.
I'll be back if you want me to.
She had a little clip on the news. It's funny. Thank you, Lynn. Jiggy England. Welcome, Sarah Terry. Thank you. Yeah, so we do this for like the first hour, and then at the end of the hour, I'm going to try it. Right now we are at 97,000 exactly, and I'm going to try to get to like 100,500 because I'm going to. I mean, if we do really well here, maybe I'll send 4,000 in at the end here, but I need to. Well, the thing is. Texas EquiSearch, they're part of this auction right now where it's up. The first 25,000 is matched. So I think they're at like 10 or something now, and it goes on for a little bit. So I thought, if we could send in at least 500, but 1,000 would be great, and then we could easily, then all of a sudden that's 2,000 to them from us, but I don't count that as part of our numbers. It just means that they get, why wouldn't you do that, right? I mean, it's a matching of 25,000. We've already sent them this year. So if you're new here, you don't know. We sent RAIN, which is violence against women. They also backlog rape kits. We've sent 4,221. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 6,165. And the backlog, 500. NCVC, violence against any people, 500. And then our DNA fund is at 13,500. Texas EquiSearch is at 5,500. Innocence Project, 1,025. Hey, thanks, Vicky H. Very cool. Thanks, H Doc. Here's another great month. Well done. Boom. Yeah, last month we got up to 5,000. That was crazy. But this month that wasn't as good all around. So, you kind of hope on the final night that it pushes it back over the edge. Yeah, it's cool. And we also, I did get some information. Hold on. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to find Misty Gillis messaged me. She said, The Vermont Doe, which Plato would be interested in, is slated to go to sequencing next week. It just arrived at Intermountain Forensics yesterday. Boom! Chakalaka! All right, thank you.
I'm so proud of all of your hard work and dedication, Gray, and also proud of our freak family. 100,000.
Not just crazy that we've been able to do that.
Chewbacca?
It's ridiculous.
I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
All documented
This is a huge milestone.
on screen, every single nickel. Thanks, Bridget Bauman. And, you know, for the new freaks here, you know, welcome to the family. You'll be, you know, it feels really cool, you know. In a little bit, I'm going to play the Daniel Armentrout press conference that I was part of, where it was a virtual one, you know, during COVID and whatnot. And then also that cool interview, remember that with the sheriff? I can't remember if it was the sheriff, but then also Daniel Armentrout's brother, brother, sitting there. And remember when he said, "Thanks to what all you freaks," that's the greatest line ever, man. Thanks, Cheyenne R. And thanks to what all you freaks do. Yeah.
$100,000. Ocean wave. Ocean wave.
Maybe I could play
ocean
some of
wave.
that right now. Well, why not, right? So there's that, and also here's the other. I gotta take care of these really quick. Got a Fury DNZ. Thank you very much, Fury DNZ. Bump, bump. Thank you, Sarah. She said, "Thank you for the decent and intelligent work you do on behalf of the vulnerable." Boom. Okay. So if something freezes up, here's what happened. I reinstalled OBS Studio, but I got the new version, and it seems to be pretty stable, and it feels pretty good. But if something freezes up, I'll just be right back on. It doesn't take that long.
$100,000 mark last year. Awesome.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah, I remember that. We were at 60 something, and I was like, man, we should be able to do that. Yeah, that's right. We were at 64.5. Thank you, Gwendolyn B. And Carolyn EHS. Thank you. And Apocalypse Fra. You've been around forever. Yeah, that's awesome. 2, 3, 4.
Chewbacca? I'll do
Chewbacca if you want me to.
Cheers to the hardest working, most ethical and perpetually generous channel in the community. Much love to the whole freak family. Heart.
Oh, thank you very much. Very kind. I know, I always think it's cool. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and there's Just a Friend. Thank you very much. PayPal there. It's always funny doing the spin. It's like these really tiny wedges of the pie, like you can't even see it really. I don't know if I'll get my bots working. Alright, there we go. Now the bots should be working. A blank slate. Thank you. Very cool, very cool. Come on, Mag. You're so generous. It's just, thank you so much.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Happy
Thank you.
donation night, freaks.
Thank you all, everybody, so much. It's awesome. Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming, Crystal. The longest name.
Just popping in. Give Gray a thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Remember that when Jenny Penny would type that in? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Freaks. Revolving hearts.
I'm gonna have to give
Revolving
Cairo
hearts.
like a
Revolving hearts. Thank you, Gray and
like
freaks.
royalties.
I'm so proud to be part of this group and contributing to great causes. Thank you all for your kindness.
Well, thank you. So proud to be part of this group and contributing to great. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and it's the the bulk, so it allows me to make an income, but at the same time, we're just like pouring money into these. Like they actually called me to see if I'd want
I
to,
remember when you were just a voiceover detailed Jodi Arias animations. How far that channel has come in every way. Insanity.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you. Amazing. That's right, Cairo. And Annabelle Stealth. Chewbacca.
Chewbacca?
How much?
I'll do
I would owe Cairo some money for the royalties on this sucker. That's crazy how it just keeps like. I'll just do my own version, right? We'll have the, like. Chewbacca? I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to be. Wow. Gwendolyn B. And Tamara. Again, thank you very much. Not today, but tomorrow. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for all you do, Gray. We're freaks.
That's right. We are freaks. Yeah, you can get a notebook on PayPal. Yeah. I mean, $25 on PayPal gets you a notebook regardless. You just have to make sure I have the right address.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll
Be Chewbacca if you want me to be. Yeah, well, some people hate my guts. Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming, sub, the longest name in YouTube history. But that's just because I don't allow. I mean, the thing is, I can't control what people do or anything like that. But I don't let them just skate by putting out something that's completely false. Bogus. And they don't like it. They don't like it at all. Yeah. Well, good, WNC Granny. Let's see. Gotta check something out. All right, we might be able to do it. I'm gonna be sending. You know, we got another half hour to go, but I'm planning on sending our DNA Fund 3,000, and then maybe Texas Echo Search 1,000. Okay. Hey, thanks, Aaron Bremer, for the, what is that called? Cash App. And then it's like Kenneth Brown on there. Thank you. That'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? Boom shakalaka. And that would put us at 4,500 for the month, which is pretty good. That's that would be like 2 of the highest months. I don't know. Doesn't it work in here if you type in what does that do? I don't know if that brings up the PayPal link or does it work? Not really sure. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it worked. Doesn't look like it's an actual link, but that's the thing there. Doesn't have like www. I think I need to fix that part. There it is. Cheyenne had it. Amber had it. Let's do the let's play some of this stuff. You might get to feel the amazing feeling that we had at the time. You know, probably abducted. But hey,
kind of go from there.
So this is me. I don't have my, you know, I'm not on a video, but this is the press conference for the Daniel Armentrout. And I think it's pretty fun to listen to. So let me turn down this music a little bit. There we go.
Oh yes.
Okay. See, I just went in to listen. You know, I just wanted to be at the press conference. This is gonna be great. There's 3 of me because that show that I'm playing was a live stream that I would interrupt and talk. But now I'm here talking while the other. It's you know, hey, listen, you guys. You get 3 times the Grant Hughes investigates. Not saying that's good, but you know, it's something. Thanks, Jacqueline Keeley. Thank you very much. Okay, hold on. Reference.
Hey. Well, Mr. CW, thank you for being here. I know you're our coroner in Bibb County, and I know that you have been very involved in this, and I know you've had a passion for it. And I would like to mention also Scott Cox, our former coroner. He was involved in this.
Okay, so what this is right here is we funded Identifinders International. I've been friends with Colleen for a few years, you know, many years really. And we started talking about it. I go, you know, I'd really like to do something on my channel where I'm giving away a large portion of the income that I bring into the, you know, because the freaks are so generous that, so we came up with the idea that I would send money to Intermountain Forensics, okay? The only problem was at the time, it's a nonprofit, so I'd send over the money, and it turns out that there was like a 6% fee that the middleman was taking. It was crazy. It was you know, like we sent in $20,000, and 1,200 of it went to some nebulous nothingness. You know, it's like, forget that crap. I worked way too hard for that. So then we devised a situation where I actually send money right out of my account in the form of a check. I do it on the show. I just show you that it went. And then about, a week or two later, she sends me an updated ledger that we have. But then they don't take anything out at all. But Intermountain Forensics is now, I think, fully accredited now for doing like gene sequencing, all the whole thing. So they're a full-on lab now. So we decided to do a case from 1961, Bibb County Doe, and it was just absolutely crazy. It was like this kid who was hitchhiking, and his car went off of a bridge that he was in, so he got picked up by somebody. It slid on this like wood or something, and the car flew off the bridge. He died, but the kid looked totally normal. Like if you look at the photos in the the funeral home or whatever, he looked like I think he just broke his neck or something. But nobody could identify him ever. So the town buried him, and they treated him with respect. And people would put flowers, and they kept for years and years and years trying to figure out who it was. So we paid, I think it was $8,000 or so, and it paid for, like, I think they exhumed him, got the bone, ground it down, they got the sequencing done, and then I had an FBI document on it that mentioned how there was like he may have walked with a limp or something like that, because something different with his bones. And then when Misty was doing her research, she got a hold of somebody in Germany, and he goes, well, it can't be that guy, he had polio or something. And it was like, oh, there you go, boom. And then it led back to his brother, who still lives in the United States, and we gave his name back. His name was Daniel Armentrout. Okay, so that's what you're listening to right here.
Death that we had there, our missing boy in Bibb County. And he did actually the exhumation of the body. He exhumed the body and was able to extract the DNA that was used, I think, to allow this to occur. So I want to thank you, but if you will, CW, would you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this and where it was allowed you to take it to these people that have done such a marvelous job of getting this DNA done?
Absolutely. So back in November of last year, Miss Colleen Fitzpatrick, she reached out to me by phone, and she stated that she was very interested in this case. The main issue was that we didn't know where the archives were.
It's this guy.
I remember back when Scott Cox was in office, and right after he exhumed the body, he mentioned that he sent them to North Texas. I didn't know what university it was or anything, but Miss Colleen Fitzpatrick, she jumped right on it. She knew exactly where they were. She reached out to the university, and they had to send them back to me, and I had to give them permission to do that. So when I got them, I sent them off to out in Salt Lake City, Utah. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Colleen, but I believe that they got a deal there called tissualizer, where they pulverize the bone, and then they sent them off to California. So she's been kind of keeping in contact with me throughout the months, and keeping me updated throughout the whole process during this investigation. And Miss Colleen, if you will, you can kind of go from there and tell us what was all involved in that investigation there.
Miss Colleen, would you do that, please? Thank you.
I will. Now I want to say I did talk to CW.
Hey, thanks, Jessica Schubach. And she said, congratulations, Gray and the Freaks, for 100,000 mark. So grateful to be part of this family. Well, we're grateful to have you in it. And all of you guys. I mean, you guys are freaking awesome. And then Chasing Truth, my partner in crime on the other channel. And thank you so much. Keep up the amazing work, freaks. Well, you're a freak too, right? Because you got the, I think you're a, I don't know if you're a channel member, but you're you're a moderator on here. we actually have to make each other mods because, you don't want people to be able to block you or say mean things. Not that anybody would ever say anything mean to her. I mean, jeez. It's just me because I'm so mean. All right, anyways, let's get back to this.
Early on, and you may read in the paper different cases are solved, and you may get the impression that boom, you get the DNA, it's solved, right? It's exciting. But really, behind that, it's a process, and it does take a village. It takes people like CW who are interested, willing to work with us. I'm the founder of Identifinders. We do John and Jane Doe cases. We solve violent crimes using genealogy. But it takes. I'm really the DNA guru in the family here, so it takes not only people like CW and like myself to kind of shepherd the whole case through, but it takes genealogists, Misty Gillis and Ellison Peacock. It takes the people at the lab who were very thoughtful in telling us the issues and helping us make decisions, because this wasn't a slam dunk. This DNA was 60 years old, and DNA degrades. It was in bad shape. And I want to say that when I contacted the University of North Texas, they had to go back in their archives. That took several weeks. And they came back and they said, yeah, we have the 3 teeth, and we have 1 piece of the tibia, which is in your foot or your leg. And we tried to get DNA out of it, and we got absolutely nothing. Are you sure you want me to send this back to CW? Are you sure you want to work with this? And we said, yeah, of course, we want to try it. And so the end of it was when we got it sent to Salt Lake City, like CW explained, you have to take that, ground it to a powder. Then we sent it to a specialty lab out in California called Estrella. And they specialize in very tough cases like this. They use the same kind of DNA processing that they use for mummies. It's called ancient DNA, where, it's not fresh DNA. You have to have special handling and stuff. And they got, we usually use 1 nanogram, and they got 45 times the amount of DNA we normally.
Yeah, so what's cool is in the Addison, this is me live in real life. Although I could have said that on the other show too, so who knows, man, where we're at here. But the Addison County has 4 nanograms. So that's 4 times the amount you need. So we're really excited about the possibility of getting the sequencing done on that one. Okay. And this is Gray, yes. On today. September 30th, is that it? No, I'm just kidding.
Normally use. I mean, it was like, it would be equivalent to a 55-gallon drum of DNA in our world.
Rain.
And that came from the teeth. And from the tibia, they got 5.5 nanograms. So we had plenty to work with. So that was good news. But then as it went into the lab, they always do a little bit of diagnostics up front to make sure the DNA is in good shape and everything. And then, to our surprise, it was only 40% human. So that was another challenge that we discussed with the lab, and they told us different ways that they would suggest getting around that and making it useful anyway. And that worked out. I mean, that was kind of a tough situation there. And then finally, when we got, that through the lab and we got it through bioinformatics, all the steps we normally go through, we got genealogy data. And that's when we could really start the genealogy process.
I'm not typing, not saying.
Now, before I turn it over to Misty to explain, I do want to share my.
The typing you just heard was the other Gray from when this video was a year ago.
Screen and show you the samples we had to work with, if you don't mind.
Please do.
You have disabled sharing, so if you could enable me to share my the images of the teeth and the tibia, I will do that. The host has to enable me to share, if that's okay, wherever Mike is. Mike, you there?
This is
for missing and exploiting children. They sponsored an exhumation, and at that.
See, isn't that crazy? See, we've donated over the last 2 years almost $10,000 to that was NCMEC back then, by the way. And it turns out that they, before we were ever sending the money, but they're the organization that exhumed the body and had the teeth originally. I didn't know that at all. So it's incredible that we've been supporting them and also Identifinders.
At that time, the 3 teeth.
And that was, now I'm live. Yeah, I know, is it live or Memorex? Who the hell knows, right?
and the tibia were saved from the exhumation. The body was immediately buried again, but they saved these samples and they sent it to Texas. And Texas, wasn't able to make anything of it because of the degradation. Here's both of them. The tibia is on the right and the 3 teeth are in the tube on the left. So they, did the same thing. They got the bone powder, they got DNA from it, but it was so bad they couldn't work with it. But since 2016, technology has definitely advanced. So we were absolutely going to take a chance. So this is what arrived at our lab in Salt Lake City that we work with. It's not our lab. We work with Intermountain Forensics. They ground it down. Tissuelizer allows, when they're grinding, to keep things cold so that the DNA has less damage. And then once they had the powder, they sent it to Astrea for the ancient DNA analysis. And like I said, that's really similar to what they use on mummies. So
I thought it was Astrea, but maybe now it's Astrea. Maybe that's the official way to say it.
We felt very confident in their abilities, and they produced 45 times the DNA we thought, we'd get. So anyway, I thought you'd like to see just those small bits of what was left of the boy that we were able to use. Now, getting it all through, I tell you, there was a lot of challenges. It wasn't a slam dunk. It took a year. And you have to have patience with these things. You have to make careful decisions. But once we got to that genealogy, then I'm going to turn it over to Misty because she did a bang-up job.
Yeah, it was really crazy, the whole process. Remember how long that was, you guys, everybody? Remember how she'd come on and explain how, well, they got bacteria DNA in there, so we have to run it a different way and see if we can have that removed. We probably don't need to do the, she was saying, the enrichment, and then boom, finally we got something, and then it went pretty quick after that. But anyways, here's Misty, I think.
Unbelievable genealogist. And she was the one that really came upon that, along with Allison Peacock. They pulled every trick in the book to get Danny's name back to him. So I'll turn that over to Misty now. I'll stop sharing and she can tell you the rest of the story.
Hello, my name is Misty Gillis. I'm the senior forensic genealogist that was assigned to the case. Once we got the data into the 2 databases that we could
And by the way, she's awesome. Okay.
use, GEDmatch and Family Tree DNA, we had some second to third cousin matches that popped up on our match list. What was particularly troubling about this case was that a majority of the second to third cousin matches that we came across were non-paternity events. A non-paternity event is when you are not 100% sure of your lineage. Maybe your father is not the father you suspected it was. Your grandfather is not the grandfather you suspected he was. We were able to figure out those NPEs and identify who their actual biological family members were. And that brought us to a specific family in New York and New Jersey. And I was working on that family for quite a while when I called Allison in for help because I couldn't figure out how we ended up with a boy being in Alabama and a family from New York and New Jersey. Through a lot of investigative work, we were able to determine that one branch of the family did end up moving down south to Miami, and a descendant of that family ended up marrying in Alabama, and I reached out to a grandchild of that couple. The grandchild referred me to her father, who actually lived in Germany and was 80 years old at the time. I called him and we had a very interesting conversation. I explained what was going on with the tree and what we were looking for and told him, Danny's story essentially. And he's the one that said to me, I don't believe I can help you except for my cousin Danny. And I said, tell me a little bit more about Danny. And he said, well, Danny had braces on his legs. Now, previously to me actually getting into the genealogy on the case, Grant Hughes, who funded the case, had sent me an FBI bulletin about our John Doe. And it had explained that during his autopsy, they discovered he may walk with a slight limp. So the leg braces part stuck out to me and was very helpful. He explained to me that his cousin Danny had ran away, that he was a couple years younger than he was. The cousin was born in 1943, so the timeline lined up. So we started digging into who could Danny be. And he told us it was a child of his Aunt Ginny and his Uncle Jim. So Allison and I started hitting public records and marriage indexes in Florida, and we came across Virginia.
It is pretty weird to have your name mentioned in one of these. Yeah, and that's the other me, okay, because this is me live, And that was me thinking the same thing. It's weird to have your name mentioned, you know.
In this family that married a Jim. But it turns out prior to marrying Jim, she had married an Alfred Armentrout. And the cousin in Germany, Robert, had told me that there were 3 boys in this family. There was Danny, David, and Donald. We found Donald and we found David on the census living with Alfred Armentrout and Ginny, which was Virginia Burner. But Danny was not on there because he had not been born yet. So we started going through newspaper archives and we looked for birth announcements to the Armentrout couple. And that's where we came across Daniel Paul Armentrout, born December 28th, 1945. In doing this, we decided we needed to track down his siblings so we could verify the story, so we could, make sure we were on the right track. Allison and I pretty much hit the ground for days straight trying to track down where Donald or David could be. We could not find David, which we now know that he is currently missing as well, as he ran away from the home. But we did track down.
So isn't that crazy? This is me live September 30th. It's crazy because this investigation there was 3 brothers that left an abusive home, and they were all running away from their abusive dad, and one of them still missing from that same time frame. I mean, that is absolutely wild.
Down Donald. And in speaking with Donald, he told us about Danny. Danny had polio as a child, which contributed to the reason why he had a limp. His father was in the service, which also explains why Danny was found with the United States Army ring in the vehicle when the vehicle had crashed. His family was also Catholic, which lined up with him wearing the Immaculate Conception medal as well. After speaking with Donald...
Hey, thank you so much. Bama Forever and Karen M. Very, very kind. Thank you.
We decided to take the FBI bulletin photos, which were untouched morgue photos of Danny, and I sent it to him and explained that although this is a sensitive and upsetting photo to see, we need you to verify whether this is David or this is Daniel. And within seconds, he called me back and said, that is my brother Daniel. And I sent the photo to the cousin Robert in Germany as well, and he sent me back a message immediately saying that is my cousin Daniel. And so that is how we came to this. And it was, a much more long, involved story that I'm not going to bore you with, hours of details. But without Allison's help, I don't think I would have been able to solve this in the time that I did it. And her contribution was immense to the team. And I'm just very honored to be able to have been a part of this.
That is awesome. And I think, Dr. Fitzpatrick, I think you wanted to chime in here. Is that correct?
Yeah, I said it took a village, and I mentioned, I got kind of describing what happened between November when I called CW and September when we got the genealogy going. But I want to mention special thanks to Grant Hughes, whose YouTube channel financed this, because it was tricky and it took more funds than we thought. And without Gray, we never would have had the money to do this. So I want to emphasize how.
Here, I'll pause it right there and say, well, it's you guys, the freaks, right? You're the ones that make this happen. I do the show every single day, and you guys support me, allow me to make an income on my channel. But that's, without you guys, this isn't happening. Isn't that amazing? So
thankful we are for his kindness and the kindness of his subscribers in bringing Danny back to his family, reuniting him after 60 years. So special thanks to Grant Hughes.
May I ask a question of you professionals that were...
And look at, what's so cool is look at Misty's face during that.
But would have had the money to do this.
Like she's so
I
happy
want to emphasize how
channel,
thankful we are for his kindness and the kindness of his subscribers in bringing Danny back to his family, reuniting him after 60 years. So special thanks to Grant Hughes.
They're just both great people.
May I ask a question of you professionals that were involved in this, and this really fascinating.
What was like my favorite part was how happy Misty was. Oh wow, that's so weird. I didn't even watch this, but I thought the same thing just now as back then. Isn't that weird? So I guess I'm a pretty consistent person. That she was saying that. It's like
for his kindness and the kindness of his subscribers in bringing Danny back to his family, reuniting him after 60 years. So special thanks to Grant Hughes.
May I ask a question of you professionals that were involved in this? And it's really fascinating for me to hear how you were able to go through and make these accomplishments. I think it's a modern miracle. It's certainly a technological miracle, but it's amazing to me what y'all have accomplished. I'm just fascinated with it.
You gotta admit, that's pretty weird that I had the same observation a year ago and didn't even remember. That's pretty crazy.
Can you tell me, I have heard or seen online that this particular case is the oldest recovery of a lost child in American history, or maybe perhaps even in the world. Would that be a correct statement?
I think the answer is I do know.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks, Steph May, Kit Kat. This is a year ago. They had a good one too. I'm gonna move it forward.
Right now is a friend of mine. This is our Centerville mayor. This is Mike Oakley. Mike, hello.
How is everybody?
Well, thank you for being here, because I'm going to come back to you because we've got some kinships here I want to talk about too, just briefly. Okay. But for right now, we've heard from CW. I'd like to go to Sheriff Jody Wade and ask Jody if he would to tell me how he got involved in this and how he first heard that there was something going on in this area that allowed him to make me aware of it at the Centerville Press. Jody, can you tell us how you got involved in this story and how we arrived at this point?
Well, when I first moved to Bibb County back in 1997, I'd heard stories about the missing boy, and I'd talked to Jim Oakley on several occasions about it because it was very interesting to me. And he was able to fill me in on the history and what led up to him being buried at a Centerville Memorial Cemetery. I talked to several people that lived in the county, and they were telling me about it and what their thoughts were and how they felt at the time it happened. And they were very concerned about trying to determine.
This guy right here is actually the brother of Danny right there.
Determine who he was and notifying any of his family members that may remain so that they could have some closure.
Thanks, Abby Jello.
My main involvement was at the exhumation in 2016 when I assisted with removing Danny and retrieving some of the remains to send those and have
this guy was the one running
analyzed. We got word that there was nothing found in the initial DNA testing that they did. Later, middle of October, CW called me and told me that he thought perhaps that they'd been able to identify the remains and locate the family members that may still be alive. I found out Saturday, October 30th, that they had located a family member and absolutely 100% confirmed his identity. So most of the credit with this goes to the people you mentioned, Grant Hughes and Identifinders International and Athena.
It's actually, this guy is Mike Hobson, this guy right here. I'm in the upper left. He's the one that put it all together on the screen.
Incorrectly. Forensics, CW West, and most of all, Jim Oakley, who initially documented this story and followed it. And going through the archives, the majority of the information that we were able to find locally was because of the hard work and dedication of Jim Oakley as his time as a reporter with the Centerville Press.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jody, because you did a perfect lead into the fella I want to talk to. I admire the technology that these professionals have done. It's again, I'm just going to call it a miracle because I don't have any other way to describe what has happened. But I think there's another miracle here. And he's sitting in the middle of this threesome that we've got on screen right now. A fellow that I met, I moved to Bibb County in 1978. And one of the things I became aware of real quick was a fellow named Jim Oakley, who was the...
Thank you. He looks small like that, the brother does, but that's actually, I think he's the writer in the paper or something, if I remember right. Salty C.
Publisher and editor of our local paper, Centerville Press. And he was sitting in the seat I'm sitting in today, which even makes me more...
So this guy right in the middle here, he was a reporter at the time. Okay. If you can believe that. See, my old self... That's incredible. Like, now my new self doesn't remember what my old self said about that, but I kind of remember before they explained it. So good. He's got to be 85, close to 90 at this point.
Appreciative of Jim because he told me the other day when I asked him, I said, Jim, tell me what I need to know to run a newspaper in a small town like Centerville, Alabama. He said one thing. He said, keep the doors open. And I think that's a pretty wise statement from Jim. Jim, I want to turn this over to you for a minute because I want to hear from one of my heroes here, because when I came here in 1978, I kept seeing in the paper on a fairly regular basis this promotional that you were doing of making people aware and keeping people cognizant of the fact that we had a missing boy in this community. And somewhere out there, you kept telling folks in different articles, in different opinion pieces, that there was someone out there that knows who this boy is. And can you tell us how you first became involved in this story? And then if you would share why and how you were able to carry this story on here for 60 years to allow this thing to come to a conclusion that is so joyful and so amazing. Let me turn it over to Mr. Jim Oakley, one of my heroes. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, David. I don't know about a hero, but I started with this thing at the hospital. I had gone to the hospital to cover a wreck for the paper. It was not this one, it was another one, but I happened to be back there in the back of the hospital.
I'm going to move it forward to like later on.
And they came in,
else too.
They had a name.
Hold on.
And
1961, I was 4 years old. My brother was 3.
I think I
My
speak
sister was
right
2.
here.
Speak to us, sir.
I don't know. It turned out okay, I think.
YouTube channel, I believe he is on the.
Hey, hey, Nicole, how's it going?
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
don't see him on my screen. That's why I didn't recognize him. Well, let's let that go ahead, Josh, if you would. Mr. Grant Hughes, would you like to speak to us, sir?
Colleen's like, oh yes, I'm here. I had everything on mute, so I didn't want to interrupt the show or anything like that. But
well, thank you. I know who you are. I saw your video. Now I know who we're talking to.
yeah, well, I mean, it's just been one of the greatest feelings that I can't even just say in my true crime YouTube channel, just in my life, really, to have been part of funding. Actually funding the identification, and it's just I remember it was like, I've known Colleen for a couple of years, and then eventually I said, I'd like to fund some of these in these small counties where there isn't a lot of funding, maybe help fund some of the John Does or any criminal cases. I say fund one more time, and we were just talking for a long time, and then eventually she said, hey, how about this one? And I said, let's do it, right? So, it's just been absolutely incredible. Like, Colleen come down to my show, pretty frequently, and every single person that watches is just mesmerized by her, just all of her stories and things that she knows and stuff like that. And they're, I think identifinders should get as way more credit out there than people realize. They're really nimble with data. Like, some places they just kind of put it in, didn't work, shoot, well, we'll move on to the next one. Well, they'll sit there and keep massaging, working with the data until they finally get the results that they need, and they put in, just go the extra mile. So it's just been incredible working with them. And when I say work with them, just funding, and then we talk, and I kind of know what's going on from time to time. But
see, that's me laughing at myself.
Not doing any of the genealogy. But man, it's been really emotional. Even, just for me, just listening to other people explaining how they feel, and just kind of imagining how the brother feels right now to finally have an answer. And now there's a full story surrounding his brother. There's like this all these things that went on for all these years is now part of the story, and Danny has a really interesting story around his life, and it's just incredible. So
it is, sir. And I want to thank you for the channel that you run, because if it hadn't been for your channel and the work that you're doing with these professionals here, I don't know that we would be sitting here today celebrating
Can
the
I get a
success
boom
that we're seeing here, and
That's
Bibb
the old
County
Greg.
getting some joyful news about this story that we've had for 60 years in our community. So I want to say thank you to you very much, sir. I'd also like to point out that we've got a number of news media that are online with us apparently at this time. And Josh, you may know more at the end. Take a look at this slate.
And there's been a number of them, circulars and flyers, a brief description of
That are watching and supporting. That are watching and.
Tombstone.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Hey, David, could I say one last thing?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I was just going to say that on my, I feel really blessed on my YouTube channel because it's not, I wouldn't be able to even do the funding if it wasn't for the people that are watching and supporting what I do. And so that's the whole thing. It's like, I'm the channel, but it's we call ourselves the Freaks. I'm going to say it out there live. But it's just amazing how supportive they are. And I think we're already almost done with the funding of a third case. They're still working on those. So we're just going to keep on going because it's so valuable to have these Jane and John Does identified and give their names back. I didn't realize how great that would feel until this case. I mean, it's like I kind of got chills right now on my arms. So there you go. So thanks for letting me say that last part.
Absolutely. I appreciate you too, sir, and I appreciate the work that y'all have done. I appreciate everybody here that's participating in this Zoom forum, this video forum. The technologies that we've got at our disposals open up new areas for us to be able to do things that have not been done before. Josh, I want to turn this over to you for a minute, and you speak your piece on what you've got for other media.
I think that's about it for like our part on this one. But I also wanted to play another one, and it was a really cool press conference. Let's see if I can find it. This is a show from December
28th of October.
Correct.
Would you tell us a little bit about Gray Hughes?
So Gray Hughes
Oh, there you go.
has a
talking
YouTube
about
channel
me.
called Gray Hughes Investigates, and he runs a show based on true crime, essentially. Anything that's in the mass media, unsolved cold cases, anything of that nature. He's got a very big following that they're called the Freaks.
The Freaks.
And during his YouTube show, they contribute money
That's not
to
me.
his funds, and he actually donates money to quite a few different organizations. To us personally, Identifiers International, I believe.
She was about half of the amount. I mean, she's not sitting there counting our funds, but she said 10,000, but we've put 22,000, including Jeff S. Right, so it's $22,000.
Jeff
but,
Safara.
Yeah, that's not a huge issue for me that she doesn't know the accounting.
He's donated over 10 grand at this point. And so when I had found interest in this case and I came across it online and I suggested it to my boss, we knew there were going to be funding issues with getting it done. So we called Gray and we told him about the Bibb County John Doe, and he immediately was enamored with it, and he offered to pay for the entire thing, and he graciously paid for all the DNA testing, all the genealogy work, and absolutely everything from start to finish for this case.
Well, there are, he probably won't agree with this, but sometimes you run across angels unaware, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
to Gray Hughes, we owe a debt of gratitude
Yes, we do.
for the work that all those freaks do.
Yes, that's
Bam!
exactly right.
Well, that's all.
Come on, for all the work you freaks do. Come on, how cool is that, huh? Anyways,
Oh, look at that. That's so awesome. For all the work that those freaks do.
Almost have to rewind that a little bit. Here we go.
And he offered to pay for the entire thing, and
Let's
he
hear that
graciously
again. Let's
paid
hear
for all the DNA testing, all the genealogy work, and absolutely everything from start to finish for this case.
Well, there are, he probably won't agree with this, but sometimes you run across angels unaware, don't you?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, that's me, everybody.
Absolutely.
To Grant Hughes, we owe a debt of gratitude
Yes, we do.
for the work that all those freaks do.
Yes.
See, they all laughed in the room there. That's just awesome. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Anyways, that's sort of like, I thought I'd play that for our 100K mark, just because that's sort of our, I don't know, I think that's our flagship case, it's like, oh, it's awesome. Yeah, such a cool feeling, Yeah, while other people are doing videos about pulling a book off of a bed with a plastic bag, we're actually funding cases and helping solve things. We're doing something. And this is me, September 30th. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, everybody that sends in any money at all, or just hitting the like button, being here is helping out. But there are certain, there's freaks out there that are constantly supporting the channel, just like Dan just said right there, like tremendous amounts that allow me to keep doing what I'm doing. Plus, it's kind of like the backbone. Even the people that send in $5, almost like every night or something like that. I mean, when you look at it, it could be like $150 a month, and some people do way more than that. It's just like, I don't know. It's just a really fortunate situation for everything. It helps me, and most importantly, the part that feels the best is the charities and the all the different funding. The DNA fund is my favorite aspect of it, but it's also great when we're giving money to Texas Echo Search and RAIN and NCMEC and all of them. Oh, by the way, Dan, when I was talking to the detective today, I specifically mentioned, because I did think the spot where Collier parked was weird after we realized she had to do a U-turn. Before, I just thought she had to turn across the street. But when you have to look and do a U-turn, so I mentioned that, and he goes, yeah, we think that's weird too. So, kind of makes you feel like the person knew about that spot, or, Yeah, so it became weirder once you had to do a U-turn, because that means you're not just looking across the street and turning. You're basically consciously making a decision to go back there. Hold on a second. Marine Co. Gotta get these in the computer here really quick. Thank you, Marine Co. And congrats to Gray and all the freaks. That's awesome. Well, thanks, Jill. Marine Co. That's funny. Like a few different times there. Second. And then Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe, of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Thanks, Linda Howell. Linda Molden Howe. And Your Gypsy. Thank you. And there we go. We're scored away there. Okay, so I think the first thing we do, we'll send off the donations, okay? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do 1,000 to Texas Echo Search That way it's a bigger bang for the buck here with the, so this one I think I can have on the screen because it's not my bank account. So here is the, see right now they're at 12,390. They'll match up to 25 of that. So, where was that? I think it was something like enter the auction. Oh yeah, right here. And then we'll set that at, well, that's not a bid. I'm not bidding on anything. Donate. Let's see. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. I want more. Hold on. I was saying enter bid. Or maybe that's just how they do it. Alright. So here we go. This is at the Texas EquiSearch auction they're having. I'll post this link in the community section if anybody else wants to throw something in there. But so here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna go off to the side and do my, oh, I don't want to do the, oh, they gotta do the surcharge, huh? We're gonna have that crazy number again. Shit. I'll just skip the 30 because of shit. Hold on. I just... Okay. There you go. Boom. And I think, if we go back, it should, I wonder if what it's at now. Yeah, I don't know if it's in there yet, but we sent it in to, alright, so let me go get my email and see if it came in yet. Alright, there we go. There is the receipt. Is that it right there? Payment to Space City Corvette Club. Well, it was sent to them. I don't know. I think that's where the donation is. But there it is. It was 1,030. You can see it on the screen right there. September 30th, 1848. See, look at the clock. Boom. All right, you guys. See, we prove everything on the screen. All right, so I'll call them tomorrow and see what they say. Make sure that they got it. Oh, and thank you very much to Not Your Average Chick. Thank you. And she wrote, thank you for trying to find answers for the families of victims, many of whom have long been forgotten, and also for always sticking to the facts no matter where they take you. This is important work, and you are making a difference in this world. Not everyone can say that. I wish I could give you so much more. Lord knows you deserve it. Well, thank you so much. You guys are always, you're, you know, so generous anyways. It'd be cool if we had, you know, 10,000 people. Actually, I kind of like it smaller though, you know what I mean? It feels like if you had 1,000 people, it'd be difficult to kind of keep that. I think 500 you could do it, but like when you have 1,000 people in the chat, it's hard to do the family feel that we've got here. You know what I mean? All right, so there is that. So we'll get that entered in a minute. I'm just going to leave out the 30. Hey, Cold Truth. All right, so we just did. I'll make sure that that made it to where it's supposed to be going. I'll call tomorrow because it's that didn't say Texas EquiSearch, but I think it's a, you know, the event is held by somebody else for them, an auction. So I just sent it in. So hopefully, I mean, I chose the right choice there. So we'll see what happens. Thanks, Lil Mama Brown. Okay. So hold on a second. So I have to go to my bank to do this next part, and we save 6% doing that. I'm gonna send 3,000 to to Intermountain Forensics, right? But I couldn't pass up on the opportunity to give Texas EchoSearch 2,000, you know. So that's like, you know, if I'm going to do 3 this month, and I'll show you what our ledger is here in a minute too. So I just set up Intermountain Forensics as a like somebody I'd send a bill to, you know, with their address and everything. And I did September 1st was 2022 also. And so we're going to do 3,000 again. There we go. And then in the memo, let's see, for Identifinders International. Okay. I think that's it. And then I have to do the 5 business day one. And there we go. All right. So here is that one. Oh, you can't see it. Let me get my screen off of that. Just a second. And here's that one right there. You've scheduled 3,000, and it's already been sent, so it'll get through, and then I'll show you the Excel spreadsheet when it comes in. I just had to send, I have to send it through using a checking situation. That's the only way to save the 6%, which is a tremendous amount of money. Don't you guys think? Like if you send them $20,000 and somebody's taking $1,200 just for processing, I mean, that's ludicrous, right? I mean, that's $1,200 is basically 5 days of maybe like 6 or 7 days of shows. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's you know, way too much money there. So this is zero. Goes right to them. Oh, the notebook? Yeah, here's what the notebook looks like. It's right there. You know, it's got a pen attached to it, pages in it. Nothing on the back, but it's a sketch of me, you know, so if you hate me, you don't want this. Oh, then I'm going to get one gray. I'm going to get one then gray. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 20,000, 1,200 is just ridiculous. So, all right, let's get going on the update now on here. We've got to do the, all right, so here we are. Now, we have a freak named Jeff Safara. He's a lieutenant. Man, I always forget what to call him, but like, he's probably going, Gray, I've told you 1,000 times. Let's see. I know he was lieutenant of a bunch of detectives, like he was running the show. But he has put in 4,000 of his own money over time too. And the reason it's, I haven't been adding it to our numbers lately, but early on I was doing that because he said he would send it to me, and I thought, well, if you're gonna just send, you know, go ahead and send it straight there. You know, so we added that in there a long time ago. But I think the last 1,000 or so is not part of it. He was going to send it to me, though. But anyways, I'm just putting him up there because he sent it directly to Identifinders. Are you out there, Jeff? Type it in. Type it in. Thank you, Jerry in Gargiola. All right, so here's where we're at here. Here we go, everybody. The final moment here. First, we'll do Texas EquiSearch. Okay, now Texas EquiSearch, I'm going to leave out that $30. It just kind of bugs me a little bit. Yeah, I guess I have to put it in there. For taxes, I guess. So that would make that $6,530. Yeah. Yep. $6,530, and we already know he gave $3,000 to the DNA fund, so now we're at 16 for this year. So got that. All right, so we'll just go in here and change the numbers. All right, so that's been, the ticker symbol has been updated. Now we're going to update this number. So here we go. We added 4,000. So now it's 101.30. Oh man. There you go. Boom. Dun, 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 dun. Does it even fit on the screen, for God's sakes? All right, there it is. $101,030 since January 2020 to various charities and a DNA fund. Can I get a boom? Yep, that's what we're getting right there. Let me see if this sound effects are working or not.
Did you hear what I said?
There we go.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
There we go. There we go. Awesome, everybody. You guys are freaking amazing. Man, that almost just seems kind of like surreal, right? The freaks. Am I missing anything on that? Like, yeah, that's right. Man, we were at 97, 3, and 1,030. So there you go. Oh yeah, that dog up in the upper, this was my dog that he died unexpectedly. Let me show you how cute this dog is. Watch this. Is that not the cutest dog you've ever, I mean, like literally in your entire life. I mean, I don't care what the, oh Gray, I had one that was, no way, look at that thing. He was just like one of those seals, you know, with the, I mean, look at that thing. He would just come up to you and like, and he just, yeah. Hey, thanks, Bridget. Yeah, man, he was awesome. Poor Rocky. Yeah, he was a Pomeranian, but we gave him the short haircut with the lion cut. So he was just always like a little bear. You know what's weird about him? You could just pose him and he wouldn't move. I mean, I think it's almost like he was a stuffed animal that had a heartbeat. I mean, it was the weirdest thing you've ever seen. You'd hold him, put him on his back, and he'd just look at you, and then, you know, you might even walk away, and you come back and he's still laying on his back. It's weird stuff, man. And sometimes one time I sat him up like almost like a panda bear sits, you know, and he just stayed there, just kind of looking out. I think I had Nate Eaton on one time here. Long time ago. Well, the cat wasn't. Obviously, I don't think it's alive because even when the person picked it up, it was barely breathing and sort of, tongue sticking out. There was already flies flying around on it. It was kind of gross. Felt bad for it. I like Fluffy. I'm not a big cat person, but I like Fluffy. All right, so let's do some spinning here. All right, here we go. I'm going to do some spins for various channel membership levels. So let's do the let's see. This one's going to be for Freaks 101. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, well, these are all just... Okay, that makes sense. All right. Look at this. Do I still have that one? The wheel? There it is. Yeah, these are all the people that are Freaks 101. Okay, so what we'll have on this one is you can win... All we're gonna have the winner gets the It's a House mug. This one.
It's a house.
And then we'll also give out a notebook. All right. So here we go. And Freaks 101 is the $1.99 level. So here we go. We're gonna shuffle. And but the winner gets a It's a House. How about we'll do 2 notebooks? There we go. Here comes the spin. It's Christine Vanek. All right, this little guy's in the way. There you go. All right, we'll put him right here for now. All right, so there you go. That's for the It's a House mug. And we'll shuffle again. You don't really need to shuffle since there's only one name per thing. But anyways, I'm going to run it again. This is for a notebook. Rochelle Black. All right. And here we go. Here's another one. Sari Shares. There you go. That's a notebook too. So you got to send me your email with send me an email with your address in it. All right. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Oogla Boogla Freaks. This is the Oogla Booglas, the $4.99 level. So this one will give out a free card mug. Let's see, 2 free card mugs with a sketch. How about that? There we go. Here comes the first spin. And it's just Kelly. All right, here comes another free card mug with a sketch. Or any other level that's not a black mug. Maybelle Quintanilla. All right. There you go. Oh hell, let's do a notebook too. Here comes a notebook. It's up to you to watch the show and know to send it to me, though. And Lane Dune! There you go, Lane Dune. A notebook. Excellent. Switch it out now to the Megazoids. They're the $9.99 level. So I think on this one I'm going to give out a, let's see, maybe we'll do a hoodie on this one. Alright, so we're going to do the, how about the We Are Freaks hoodie? Okay, but you got to tell me the color you want and the size, and then you, in the email that you send. Alright, so we'll do a hoodie, and then we'll do a couple notebooks too, okay? So there we go. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. There we go. Look at that, it's Girl Interrupted. Alright, Girl Interrupted. You won a hoodie. Alright, so let me, I'm going to do 2 notebooks now too. Well, no, I will do a, it's a house mug, and then a notebook. Alright, so shuffle. This one's for It's a House right here. Mar McIntyre. Alright, now this one's for the notebook. Sorry if you wished you were won, but hey, it's there's no favorites, you just spin it. Alright, here's one for a notebook now. So the Megazoids got there was a hoodie, a mug, and now a notebook. Casey Moe. You know what's weird is a lot of these people, they support me every month, but you don't see them as much as other people. Thanks, K-Dog. Oh, these are just, if you're a channel member, you were put into the drawing, Shelly. It's just at the end of the I put, if you're a Freak 101 or I spawned a bunch for those people, and then also for the Oogla Boogla Freaks, and then the Megazoids. Hey, thanks, Romeo's Heart. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's 101 now. 101,030. Yeah, so I spun for all 3 of the different channel membership categories, and now I'm going to spin for the people that are on Patreon, and I think we'll just do, let's see, we'll do a Freak Heart, well, so we'll do a, no, the regular, what's the one I was thinking about? It's a house mug. Yeah, everyone likes to have that one. Or you can choose whatever mug you want, but it's a house mug, and then we'll give out also a Freak Heart mug with a sketch for the people on Patreon. So you guys are next here. Let's do those. Alright, shuffle. All right. Okay, so the first one is for the, it's a house mug and then free cart mug with a sketch. For Patreons. Oh, look at that, Marine Co. Well, it goes on to next month's Romeo's Heart, but thank you. And it doesn't really work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 10. But thank you, Romeo's Heart. Oh, here comes another spin. This one's for the free cart mug with a sketch on it. Oh, there it is. Brenda Lorich. All right. Got to do the moderator. You know, I'm gonna do the moderator. I'll do the moderator one tomorrow, but I'm gonna also add in the ones on Discord too. So I gotta figure that out. So I'll do the moderator one tomorrow. To rebuild that list, I think. Darn it, used to be on the desktop here, but I had to reinstall Windows and things got lost. So I thought it was on my desktop, but it's not there. So all the moderators that are on here, and then I'm going to add the Discord moderators. You know, I'm not going to duplicate somebody, but like if you're a moderator here and not one over there, you'll still be on there, but if you're on both, you'll just have one also. I rationalize my monthly membership by skipping Starbucks twice a month. Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, you know. So just like everybody knows, the way it works on this channel is people send in super chats and channel memberships, and you're all supporting my channel. And then at the end of the month, I donate over 50% of the net revenue to charities, right? So, you know, if the channel is good at 1 month, then so do charities, you know. But I'm always going to be giving, regardless if I sucked, you know, like it doesn't matter because that's just part of what we're doing now. So, anyways, I really appreciate you guys' support. I mean, regardless, so if you just hit the like button, you know, if you come in here and you can't do anything else, hit the like button, share the show with other people, you know. And I was just looking at it, I was thinking, man, we only got 7,000 subscribers since the Danny Armentrout, which is kind of weird, right? Like, since that time, I mean, it sounds like a big number, but it's not really, you know, it's not really a big number. But there's been a weirdness in the true crime live streaming subs. You got to cover the same bullcrap every single night, or you don't get any help at all. It used to be a little bit better. Alright, so let me get the music playing here. But unfortunately, I get a lot of blowback from people out there that think that I need to be sending in the entire month's revenue, no matter what, to the charities. And it's like, you know, they only care when you have a channel that donates. If you don't donate, they don't give you a hard time at all. But if you donate, then you have to give every nickel. It's just bizarre. I actually do 7 days a week, 4-hour shows, 2 or 3 hours trying to get ready for most of them, and even more than that sometimes. And I couldn't really justify doing a show unless there was an income. I explain this a lot. People get tired of me explaining it, and I'm just saying it for there's people that are new, and I don't want them to. I'm not collecting money for a charity or anything like that. I am just giving away part of the income from the channel every single month, and I've been doing it for. We even did it in 2019, but it wasn't as big a number. We just started counting in 2020. Thank you, Emily Flotilla. Never illa. Always wanting me to chilla. Emily Flotilla. She's never illa. She's always wanting me to chilla. She sends me a pillow. Because she thinks... She sends me a pillow to chilla with the... Yes, thank you. You can say that, Bridget, if you want to. Yeah. Made from a chinchilla. I got a pillow made from chinchilla. I try to keep stilla. That was pretty bad. Hey, good night, Emily Flotilla. Have fun. So I think we're all... The only thing I have left is the spin at the end of the show for all the supporters from tonight. So that's about it. Probably do like maybe two of the... maybe we'll do two It's a House in a notebook. That sounds like a good idea. All right, well, what should we do now? We've got another hour and 10 minutes left here. You want to do the, go over this stuff again? I mean, there's a lot of new information that came in. We could play that press conference again. And I'll try my damnedest to not talk during it, but we know how that works, We know how that works. Good luck. That's why I don't want you, Gray. You never just let the... Well, nobody else does either, okay? If you actually have some thoughts about something, you're gonna play it. You're gonna pause it, and say something. Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history. All right, let's see if this all works now. I've got the... Okay, we're going to do the press conference, and we'll slide right into the survey. Oh, wait, you know what? There was other stuff, so forgot to talk about that. We've actually got other information. So hold on. I got a packet basically from them. So let's see, where is it? Okay. So here's a Word document that they sent. Right here. And this one says, the investigation into the death of Deborah Collier has received extensive attention both nationally and locally on various platforms of news reporting and social media. However, it is important to keep in mind that this is a very complex case and that these types of investigations take an extended amount of time, well beyond the 19 days that have passed since the initial discovery. While investigators wait for information to return from the various submissions, search warrants, and subpoenas, there continues to be more questions than answers. And ain't that the truth, though, everybody? Ain't that the truth? The autopsy report and findings and the results of numerous items submitted to the crime lab for analysis are still pending. The sheriff's office has begun to receive information from the initial series of subpoenas and search warrants. As this information is received, investigators, with the assistance of other law enforcement and civilian support personnel, are deciphering the responses in an attempt to identify a possible motive and persons of interest. Additionally, the sheriff's office continues to prepare and execute additional search warrants for various social media communications and location service providers. As released earlier, investigators did obtain footage that shows the victim, Deborah Collier, entering the store on September 10th at 2:55 p.m. and remaining there until 3:09 p.m. In the video, the victim appears to be calm and not in fear of anything. All video footage obtained from the store and surrounding business reflect that the victim was alone in the van at the time she visited the store. A review of the store receipt and video footage from the store security cameras, investigators confirmed that they were further able to determine that the victim purchased a rain poncho, refillable torch lighter, a 2-roll pack of paper towels, a 7.5 by 9.5 blue tarp, and a reusable tote bag. This was confirmed by obtaining a copy of the store receipt and a copy of the video footage from the store security cameras. More recently, the security video of a neighboring business shows the victim coming out of the Family Dollar store at 3:09 p.m. and sitting in her vehicle for 10 minutes before departing the parking lot. They didn't mention that she pulls out and then parks again. And that's when she sent the Venmo. The victim leaves and heads south on Highway 15. This information allows investigators to narrow the time of death to a window between 3:19 on Saturday and September 10th to the discovery of the body on Sunday. I don't know, man. I think if you spotted that vehicle there, the time of death, I guess you can't really say that she's not alive down there. So the window is, okay, here's where we found her not alive. But in reality, when you see a car parked there, she probably died sometime near that time, you would think. Unless she was kept alive down there for an extended period of time. I don't know. And then here's the photo. Let's do this. So there it is. That's her car driving down the road right there. Speed limit 25 miles an hour, measured speed at 38, and distance 83.9 feet, lane 2. Let's see if we can find where that shot is, because that's down here. Hey, thank you very much, Treva McCoy. Okay, so somewhere right around in this area, but if you look at the road, it kind of appears to be curving. So I'm wondering if it's like right over here somewhere, like a hidden... This is 2022, the street view here. Oh, thanks, Nurse Mama. But like I always say, it's really the freaks. I mean, you know, I put a lot of hours in doing shows every single day. And, you know, there might be this 7th coming up. I might take a day off maybe for that. When I go to, remember there's a beach fest thing that I go to for golf. I might do that, but I might even just bring my camera down there and still try to stream, or I don't know. It's just because it sucks when you miss a couple days. You get way behind on the goals for the month. So I don't know if that's where it was, or so that's the Victory Home thing. They mentioned this the school. Almost feels like, is it right there? There looks like a curve, but that could just be the camera. So that's the school right there. Maybe it's the camera right on top of like the... Don't know. Weird one. Weird one. Alright, so let's get back to the... Now we'll play the press conference from the day again. See if we get any new thoughts out of it.
But he was with someone who was every day.
I wonder if this is a more stable version of OBS Studio. It feels pretty good.
To solve this crime. Good morning. On behalf of Sheriff Joey Terrell, I want to welcome you. To begin with, I'd like to give you a brief synopsis of where we are to date on the investigation. The results of the autopsy are still pending. The results regarding the analysis of the items we've submitted to the crime lab are still pending.
So I already got to pause it. So for those of you who didn't see my community post or anything like that, I did talk to this guy right here. His name is, I think his name is George, I think. I can't remember exactly on the top of my head, but I spoke to him. I called him up and we talked for, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 minutes. And you know, I asked him some questions, and by the time we were done, I was almost, you know, like 99 to 1 that it's a homicide. Okay, he told me a couple of things that I can't say, you know, and that's just kind of sucks not to be able to say it, but he told me a couple of things, and I went, oh, okay, boom. And it was one of the things that I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, I said, listen, it looks like most likely a suicide. However, if this piece of information comes out, you know, about the crime scene, let's say, then I will completely change my mind. And it happened to be one of those exact things. So all of a sudden, it's you know, it is what it is, you know. But when you see somebody alone drive up and buy equipment, and then they're found with every single item that they purchased, and they're in the woods and they're not alive, and they're driving a car, you sort of wonder, what else could it be other than they did something to themselves? Yeah, the purse, everything's there. So you got to listen to this.
Or where we
no,
are.
It's not. The purse has nothing to do with what he told me. We already knew that in the press conference.
Are to date on the investigation. The results of the autopsy are still pending. The results regarding the analysis of the items we've submitted to the crime lab are still pending. We are now just beginning to get responses to the search warrants. And
I'm just probably going to stop this every 5 seconds, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that much. I just had to wait when it was 80-20, I would have been a little bit more surprised. But after those 911 calls yesterday, those bothered me quite a bit. I mean, you guys probably could see that. I mean, at the end of the show, I was 60-40. You know, it's a pretty big deal to move 20% over, because it was like some of the stuff that Amanda was saying was really, you know, like giving a story to her aunt. That's weird. A totally different story about a truck driver in paint. You know, it's almost like, hey, yeah, okay, tell him this one. And then she calls many different times. The Venmo money goes to her. And then you start putting all the pieces in things that she said. And now I don't know if Amanda is the one, but it could be, it feels like it's got to be related to her somehow, doesn't it? Yeah, so anyways.
The subpoenas in the case to date. We can tell you that we have received additional footage from a security camera from a business near the Family Dollar store. That additional footage shows us that Deborah Collier walked out of the Family Dollar store at 3:09, got into her van, and remained in her van in the parking lot for 10 minutes before leaving the parking lot and heading south on Georgia 15, Highway 441, US 23. This tells us that the time frame is actually narrowed a little further for this case to begin at 3:19 p.m. on Saturday, September 10th, and ending at 12:44 Sunday, September 11th, the time of the discovery. Please understand that this case is very complex in nature and has a lot of questions and unknowns that aren't found in a typical death investigation. It is going to take significantly more time than the 19 days that have passed since the discovery to solve this crime. We also want you to know that we are working diligently to solve this case. We are trying to obtain as much information as possible so that we can put together facts and evidence to support a motive and also to identify a person or persons of interest. At this time, I'd like to call up lead investigator George Kaysen to assist with answering the questions that you may have. George.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here, being part of this. Hopefully we'll be able to answer some questions and give y'all some insight of where we're at and kind of what we're dealing with. First off, I want to start off by saying we have received a lot of questions that y'all have sent in. Some of these questions, the information that is pertaining to those questions is very sensitive information. We will try to answer them to the best that we can, but there will be information that we need to retain just for the simple fact of it being very sensitive, and we don't want our potential persons of interest to be able to get a hold of this information. Just so that way it does not jeopardize the furtherment of our investigation. As far as some of these questions that were asked, I'm going to kind of go through a list of them and try to give answers as best as possible to you. One of the first questions that was asked is, can you confirm the Venmo?
Here's what I would say. This guy right here, he's one of the coolest people I've ever talked to as a detective. Like, he just sits there and he talks to you, and he's like absolutely a real personality, just, you know, nothing crazy or anything. I mean, it was pretty refreshing, you know. He didn't seem like he was hiding stuff. I mean, I talked to him today in person, Shannon. That's what I'm telling you. I actually called him up and talked for 10 or 15 minutes, and he was even more than you see right here. He was just like, you're talking to a friend or something. I mean, it was awesome.
A message from the daughter, from mom to daughter, was sent to mom's phone. We're still waiting more information that we have requested to confirm or deny where the Venmo was sent from, but we can confirm that Amanda did receive the Venmo.
I know exactly when I think it's interesting that they didn't say, well, she was in the parking lot for 10 minutes and then left, but she was actually in the parking lot, backed out, and then parked in another spot for a minute or two where we feel she likely sent the Venmo message from, and then she left the park. I mean, that's like a more accurate description.
She did receive money. That much we do know right now. Continuing on, our next question was, are you in possession of Collier's cell phone, and where was it found?
Hey,
Yes,
thanks,
we
Cammy
are
Nielsen. See you
in
later.
possession of that cell phone. We do have it in evidence, and it was located at the crime scene. The next question that was asked was, what was Collier's cause of death? And as Colonel Kogod mentioned, we are still awaiting the full report from the medical examiner's office. Once that comes in, we will absolutely update everyone on those findings. What records and data have we analyzed? Due to that being sensitive information, much as the disclaimer that I gave when I first stepped up here, we don't want to reveal any information that could possibly be a potential or potentially jeopardize our investigation to where our suspects will get that information. There was a question about Deborah's phone records. We have served multiple search warrants on multiple different cell phone carriers. We are working with them to get all pertinent data from those devices and from those carriers. So hopefully we'll be able to develop more of a timeline, a better timeline, and hopefully be able to find out more information about what exactly happened. Inclusion of family members, a question was related to that. Is that right now we have not ruled anyone out at this point. We have ever developing leads and are gradually having information that we have requested come in. So we're still in the process of trying to find persons or person of interest. And as that information starts to trickle in, it will actually help us develop more information for y'all to have. We're continuing to investigate Deb's activities from September 10th through the September 11th, which is also going back to the timeline. We're gradually just...
Hold on one second. Thank you to Sarah Kinder and Southern Mom on PayPal. Thank you very much.
Getting more information in. We want to know just as much as anyone else does, and we're working, as Colonel Kogod said, we're working diligently. We've lost a lot of sleep, as such should be, in this investigation. We've devoted a lot of time to this investigation. There was a question about what search warrants have been executed. As far as the search warrants that we have done, again, we cannot give that information out just for the simple fact that it may jeopardize and give the information out to possible potential persons of interest. And we don't want to basically show our hand before we have facts. And as Colonel Kogod said, then a couple other questions that were kind of obtained as far as Deborah's timeline. We have obtained additional footage from the parking lot, as he described, where she is in her 2022 Chrysler Pacifica van in the parking lot of the Family Dollar, which is obviously joined by other businesses. We've obtained additional footage and found that she stayed in that parking lot an additional 10 minutes. From that 10 minutes at 3:19 p.m., she leaves the parking lot and begins to head southbound on Georgia 15, which is the main highway, the 4-lane highway that connects Rabun County to Habersham. She starts traveling southbound towards Tallulah Falls, which is just inside Habersham County. We are still in the process of trying to obtain videos.
No, I'd like to know is when she pulled in, did it appear she came from the south and went in there? Because if that's the case, that's just another oddity. You know, she went up there just to buy that stuff and then back out again.
From other locations and other businesses along that route, and we encourage any business along that route that might have cameras, please reach out.
No, it sounds like what LMM, as in Element Open. Like the information they gave out today in this press conference, without their wording, you would think that it was even more likely a suicide because all of the items she purchased were found at the crime scene, including clothing and stuff like that. So the thing is but it turns out I actually called this guy on the phone right here, and we talked for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, and some of the stuff he told me that I can't say out loud, then I just went, yeah, that's 100, it's 100% a homicide, basically, 99-1 at that point, because there was something he told me that's not out there that people, they don't know, and so it's not, see, without that, I couldn't tell you. There's people that think that they know the answers without actually knowing the answers. But see, that's why I just come up with stuff like, well, it's like, 70%, 60%, 40%, whatever. But now I'm like 99-1. No, it's not DNA or anything like that. Yeah, it's more like, something, well, I'll just say like, I can't even say. I don't even know if I can say that. All right, anyways, let's go here.
Out to us, look through your video cameras and reach out to us. That way we can have a meeting with you and see if we can kind of even narrow down our timeline even more. As far as the timeline, the last time we know that she was alive was at 3:19, because we see her in that vehicle leaving the parking lot, heading southbound on Georgia 15. There was a question about our thoughts of this being a homicide. We have not changed our thoughts about this being a homicide. We're still treating this as a murder investigation, and we will not change that. We will diligently and continuously work day and night trying to solve this case and try to bring justice to Miss Collier and her family. A lot of the questions we got are kind of repeat, so if I do repeat some of these answers, I do apologize, but I'm trying to go through and trying to hit every question that was given to us. We are, again, going back to the cell phone providers and search warrants we've done. We're working with multiple different cell phone providers to obtain the necessary information. All we know right now, as far as the Venmo message, is that, yes, it was sent to Amanda. There was a question in there as far as, do we know where the money is now? No, we don't. For the simple fact that we are still obtaining information, when it was sent, where it was sent, what device it was sent from. We're still trying to obtain that information right now. Yes, sir.
Going back to what you were saying about the death and why you're confident that this is a homicide.
Right.
Was there any signs of
No,
trauma to the
Dan.
body that clearly indicated that this was a homicide?
The only thing we know as right now is the burns of the body. We're still waiting for the absolute full.
And that's not what he told me. So
Full report from the medical examiner's office.
That's not the only thing.
But nonetheless, because of the burns, we're still treating this like a murder. We're trying to investigate it as such, and we won't deter from that just because we're going to treat it like that investigation to get all thorough information.
And in the statement, it says, let's see, that this was, you're clear that this was
How about no,
a random act of violence. Generally speaking, if I say something is a random,
Nobody said that it was no way. See, here's the thing. LM and everybody else, when all I said was it's more likely to be a suicide, given the information we had. And I pointed out other cases that are exactly the same. So it wasn't something that could never happen. Having children and all that kind of stuff has nothing to do with anything at all. And so the thing is I was open to it being a homicide. It just seemed less likely. Then yesterday, after the 911 calls, no, I never said that, LM. Never said that at all. So yesterday, we got the 911 calls, and then it was 60-40 because it's like, oh man, this is crazy. These things that she's saying, the daughter. And then today during the press conference, it was getting more like 50-50 because they seemed so sure. But then there was also other things like, wow, all the clothing's found at the crime. Everything that she purchases there, the purse isn't missing anymore. Everything is right there, and it seemed like, but it seemed like they were so confident that you kind of had to go to like 50-50, and then after I called him, it switched completely over. And I think that's the responsible way to do true crime, not go, oh yeah, this is because it's just, it reminds me of the case with, what was the one with the girl, the lady who got her baby stolen from her, and everybody was blaming the boyfriend because he didn't do a great interview, right? Like they didn't, remember that one? They blamed him over and over again, over and over. It was pathetic. And he had nothing to do with anything. It was her friend that killed her and took her baby. Heidi Broussard. Yeah, I remember it. Hey, I remember, you typed it in. I said it before it popped up on the screen, Billy Juliana, but you typed it in your head before me, so because you're 20 seconds behind. Yeah, everybody was blaming the boyfriend over and over and over and over and over again, right? And if you said anything, they go, "Oh, you're ridiculous." But what I do is I just try to come up with what is more likely at the time, given the information that you have. Because in this case, there was nothing other than her driving there and some, what do you call it, like circumstantial evidence of people arguing and things like that at a different time. And yet she's still alive, driving up there alone, purchasing those items, and then she's found not even that far away from where she bought those items. So that's where I was then, and that's why I went, I got to call this guy, and he actually answered the phone. It was unbelievable, and got the information. So there you go. So when people go, "You were wrong, Gray, you were wrong," you're idiots. Okay, that's the truth. I never said it's 100% anything. Okay, what I thought was weird, though, was when she went there and was on surveillance purchasing that stuff, that people still thought it was, oh, no, it's even more of a murder. It's like, what? What do you mean? She's by herself buying those things. Yeah.
Act of violence.
Where did let me stop you right there. Where did that statement come from? Just that way, I'm just that way.
Not a random act of violence.
Not okay. My apologies. Okay, what? Meaning that it was not a. Could you be more specific? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth. What does that mean? Does that mean someone knew someone?
No, what that means at this point is there is no information. I'm sorry. There is no information or evidence to this point that shows that this was something random, that there was something that was out, that was not from somebody that she either knew or somebody who she had some association with. That's what we're seeing at this time. So based on that information, we do not believe that this is a random act of violence. We do not believe that this is the act of a serial killer. We believe that this act was deliberate and personal.
What I said to him on the phone was, listen, I think the digital information is going to give you your answer, and he agreed, and he also hoped, though, it didn't turn into one of those long cases where it shows up on 2020 or something. Yeah, and so that can happen, but it feels like they probably have a good idea who the person is, but they have to make the evidence has to be absolutely locked in. Then boom, an arrest will be made. Okay? Circumstantially, they might already have a decent case or something going on. Now, you sort of wonder, where was Amanda's phone? Because here's the thing. Amanda called Debbie that afternoon. And he didn't have the information in front of him, and he didn't have it when I called him, the time of that phone call. That's a really important piece of information. For example, what if Amanda's the one that called her at 3:10, and as she sat there in the car? I mean, that's a ridiculous. And then you ask yourself, well, where did the phone ping that Amanda was using to call Debbie at that time? And then you just kind of keep going from there. And was it, I guess if it was her phone, do we really know that was her?
Yeah, I saw you raise your hand.
Yes, sir. Michael Ruiz from Fox News Digital. I'm just curious if Debbie's purse was recovered at the scene.
Yes, it was. We do have that.
So there you go. Debbie's purse was now found at the scene. That was one of the people that, one of the things was, Well, if the purse isn't at the scene, you know, it's more likely that it was a homicide, but she could have just thrown it into a bin of some sort, not wanting to be identified. But now we know that the purse is at the scene.
And evidence, and it was recovered from the crime scene.
And her shoes are at the
Another
scene.
purse than the one that
He doesn't
was
say
said to be
that.
left at her home?
That we're not aware of.
She's wearing her
We're
shoes.
still working on that, but we do know for a fact the video that was released of her being in the Family Dollar, that purse was found at the crime scene and is in evidence.
And one other question there.
You're a
Is
freak
there
too,
anyone
Ellen.
in that area that she is acquainted with? Is there a reason she would go up there dressed in her
An ornery
Bulldogs
one, but yeah.
jersey on game day and drive an hour?
We're still trying to work.
They basically found every single thing at the crime scene.
Work with that again, like I said, as far as some of the search warrants and some of the follow-ups that we're doing, we're trying to obtain that information to see if she has any connections. If anyone, and that's one thing too, I'm glad you asked that. If anyone does have any kind of contact, and we encourage the public as well, if anyone had contact with Deborah Collier during that time frame, as far as from September 9th all the way through September 11th, specifically around the time frame of 3/19 to Sunday when the body was found. If anyone had any contact or might have seen or talked to her, please, we encourage you to come forward and speak with us.
Investigator Case and Joy Priscilla.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that she headed south on Highway 115.
Georgia 15, sorry.
After
Yes, ma'am.
leaving the Family Dollar store. Did the school zone cameras in Tallulah Falls School pick up
Yes.
her departure?
Absolutely. And actually, I'm glad you asked that. I do have something that we're going to make readily available for y'all when we're done with this press conference. We do have in our possession, this is an actual photograph from the Tallulah Falls school cameras. She was seen traveling northbound on Georgia 15, just north of our crime scene there, which is just south of Victory Home Lane. This is a picture of her traveling northbound on Georgia 15, traveling through these cameras at 2:17 p.m.
Yeah, I got a hold of their communications people, and they sent me the whole packet of all their stuff. You know, it would have been great if they had had a polarized glasses on that, and they actually have the digital image. They could put the largest image they have and then change the contrast a little bit. You might be able to make out somebody in there, but it doesn't look like they have Polaroid lenses. You have the whole shiny reflection.
On Saturday. Once we're done with this, I will actually tape it up here on the wall, so that way anyone and everyone can come up here and get a better picture of it, because I understand it's hard to see from here.
I'm sure all the little items, they said all the items were at the crime scene. Every single thing that they bought, that she bought at the store, was at the crime scene.
Once we're done, you can come up and get a better picture of
Did
it.
you see her coming back southbound?
We have not. We have been in coordination with Chief Elrod from the Tallulah Falls Police Department. She has spent countless sleepless nights looking through cameras, and that being one of the most heavily trafficked roads in northeast Georgia, especially for travel towards the North Carolina mountains, there's probably...
Use what, Shannon? What the hell are you talking about?
In the upwards of 150 to 160,000 cars that come through there. So they are still looking through to see if we can find her coming
Shannon
back
came
south.
in like a wrecking ball!
So according to the original report sent out, the van was seen by Tallulah Falls officers sitting there on the side of the road around 5 o'clock Saturday.
I believe so,
And
yes.
of course, when you all got there, the van was there on Sunday.
Correct.
Is it y'all's impression that the van was there that entire time, over from 5 o'clock till...
Well, obviously, from our timeline, we know it wasn't there the entire time.
It was not there?
So,
from 5 p.m. Saturday.
Now, 5 p.m. Saturday?
To 11-ish, 12-ish, when you guys got there Sunday, did it ever leave that location?
Now, that we're not aware of.
Okay.
When you said the 5 o'clock thing, I didn't know if you were talking about Friday. But
No,
as
Saturday.
far as the timeline, the only times that we can establish as far as that van is there is that we're still getting trickling information. I think there was another question in here, if there was any tips from the community that have helped us out. Yes, because it has helped us narrow down timelines. We're still following up to see if we can actually get confirmation of this van being there at certain times. But as of right now, from what we know, that van was there.
Wow, hey, look at that. Somebody just typed in "no clowns allowed." Doesn't that mean we need to get rid of you?
crime scene on Sunday is what we can confirm. Now, as far as her time getting back to the crime scene, we cannot confirm that. We're still working on leads and trying to confirm
Yeah,
that
I know it's the name.
During the time that she was, you say she was sitting in the parking lot outside Family Dollar.
Yes, ma'am.
She left at 3:19.
Mhm.
At 3:17 is when this Venmo message
Correct.
was sent. And earlier you mentioned you're still trying to determine what device that was sent from.
Right.
Does that mean that you all do not yet know if she in fact sent that message herself?
Well, as the investigation goes on, I mean, we're doing a lot of search warrants to try to obtain any information that we possibly can. And as we know, as far as with the digital information and all the digital electronic devices we have these days, you can access accounts from many different devices, which is why we're going through the extent of being able to determine what device that Venmo was sent from.
And her daughter received that payment at 3:17.
I think-
She said
I
in
think the
Athens
mom
Park
sent
County
it,
Police
100%.
Department report when she reported her mother missing, that it worried her. She tried to call her mom on her cell phone. But two things. One, she had said that her mother only took her debit card and car keys. She didn't mention her purse. She didn't mention the cell phone.
Yeah, that's completely irrelevant. That's just somebody trying to, oh yeah, ooh, about the purse and everything. It's totally irrelevant at that point. You know, it's what are you trying to? There's nothing trying to hide something. It would have been bad if the purse wasn't at the crime scene and she said it was at home, and then the purse was at home. That would have been crazy. But in this one, she says, oh, she didn't leave with anything. Now, I guess they did find a purse at the crime scene, so what could that possibly be? They know that she's going to find, they're going to find him. See, the thing is, she knew that they were going to find her. So what difference does it make, that story, right? If she has something to do with it, I think she just didn't realize it. That part, to me, in the story means absolutely nothing. The part about the purse. And all of that part. None of that makes any difference to me.
Also, it took her 3 hours, according to the timeline in the missing person report, from 3:17 to 6:01 before she actually reported her mother missing. Have you all looked into why
Yes.
there was a delay?
Yes, we have looked in, and again,
See, that is one of the biggest elements, you guys, is 317 is the Venmo. Let's just do it like this. Watch this. Want to see something crazy? Watch this crap right here. I mean, this is, I bet you, I haven't even done this yet, but I'm going to do it right now. It just came into my head. Watch this crap. So the Venmo message is sent right here at 317. But let's say Amanda has something to do with it. Okay, it takes 30 minutes to drive from here to, let's say, to right here. So now it's 3:37. No, not there, right here. 3:37 to right here. Then you got to get her down there, and then things are happening. So maybe you leave here at, I don't know, 4:30 or something. And then that's an hour drive, and you get back into town at 5:30. You know, if the traffic's good and everything like that. And that gives you enough time to get in the house. Or you might have been even home at like 4:30 before Steve got home. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of time. Oh, I was driving around looking for... Well, how about this? Have they been able to get footage of her at Walmart walking around looking for her? They got everything that she claimed that she went to do. They need to see if they can find footage of her vehicle doing those exact same things. Hey, thanks, Mountain Jam 71. But it's interesting, like she waits 2 hours and 45 minutes to call her mother missing, right? But doesn't that just give you a perfect amount of time to be up there and doing something, or at least waiting for something to happen? Yeah, it's pretty weird. Yeah, I think so too, Billy Juliana. I think if you can find her footage, because she claimed that she went to Walmart and some other place, and if they can see her looking around, then, you know, maybe she doesn't have as much to do with it as somebody else that's maybe close to her. You know, maybe somebody who doesn't like that her mom isn't, you know, isn't happy with him maybe, you know, and somebody else, right? So anyways.
We're still waiting for more information to come back. Again, with the search warrants that we've done, we're trying to develop those timelines and get confirmations of where these people were at or anyone that was close to Deborah at the time.
But here's one thing I will say. Debbie doesn't like Geigerich or whatever the hell his name is. She doesn't like him. So so the ruse had to have included somebody that she cared about. If, in fact, her driving up the hour and a half to buy those items had something to do with the overall plan. It seems almost certain that it does. She wouldn't go up there, for example, if the boyfriend said, hey, can you go up there and buy... Why would she give a shit about that? She's not going to do that. But if her daughter said something like that, she would go do that, right? What do you guys think about that?
We're just trying to develop and get that information and get factual information so that way we can actually start putting a basis to this.
Investigator, on the original incident
Not
report,
if she was in the front, in the back seats.
Drug use was there?
No, yeah, I'm gonna let Colonel Kogod.
I can answer that. So patrol deputies, when they respond to scenes like this and they don't know exactly what they have, they normally mark whatever may be applicable. In this case, because it was so questionable and there were so many unknowns when we got to the scene, they marked it as a possibility that it could be drug related. However, at this time, the investigation is not leading us in that direction.
Okay, so that checkbox, and that was another item that fit into the suicide theory, right? Drug related. They even asked the daughter, hey, how was her mental state? Okay, but it turns out that now they don't believe that, so you can uncheck that box now. And now it starts, you know, there's a lot of elements that once they started talking, take it out of the suicide realm. Well, Gray, we knew that before. No, you didn't know anything. You were guessing, and you were closer. I just had it more on the suicide side, okay? See, that's what's different about me and other people, okay? I'm going to keep going through the information, and when wherever it takes me, that's where I'm going to be going, just like these guys that you see on the screen right here. When I was talking to him on the phone, he said, you know, every time we get close to something, there's well, he said it in the interview, actually, on this thing. He said, every time we get close to something, there's a curveball. And then when I was talking to him, I said, you know, this is the craziest case ever. Right when you think you figure something out, boom, there's one element that completely wipes it out. And he goes, man, I said the exact same thing during the press conference. I go, I know. We were just amazed how you guys feel exactly the way we feel. So I try to, and their evolution in this case is almost similar to mine. Like, they started off thinking maybe it was a suicide. Then they backed off, and then they sort of and then they went to murder, and then they backed off a little bit with the death investigation. Once they saw the footage of it, then boom, right back to, yeah, that doesn't change anything for them because they had particular information from the crime scene that we don't have yet in the public, okay?
Is that another example of why there may not be an obvious trauma, like someone shot?
I think it's interesting as hell, though, this case, though. It's like
Could be, but again, it's so preliminary in the investigation that we really can't make that determination. We just do not believe, based on what we have at this time, that this is drug-related.
The tip that Amanda Bearden was at the Family Dollar, did that come from her? Did it come from somewhere else? And what is the significance of her not being at that location that Saturday?
I'll try to answer that as best as well. So the tip as far as her being at the Family Dollar came from an initial interview to where she was talking about her and her mother going to Family Dollar to buy cleaning supplies to help clean up her apartment when she got back to Georgia. As far as
hey, thanks, pancakes.
As far as anything, as far as the Family Dollar visit, I don't think that actually came from her, right?
No, it come from a.
Yeah, come on up here. This is Investigator Garrison. He's also one of my team leads.
So I pulled the video footage from the store and talked with everybody from the store. Based off of that, with Miss Collier. She was there for that time period from 2:54 till 3:10. Got in her car at 3:10 till 3:20. It was asked that if Amanda was in there earlier, and Amanda, based off of our knowledge at this time, there was some confusion there, and the associate that worked there actually saw the mother and not the daughter. I was able to provide photos to that store clerk to confirm that based off.
So that right there should get rid of all the clowns who keep saying that, oh, I don't think it was really her, it was really her. No, it really was Debbie in the store there. It's not Amanda, and it's not somebody else playing the part. Today playing the part of Rex Greenberg will be... Remember, you guys remember when in the soap opera days, like when a main leading actor was like down and out for some real life problem, they would actually have somebody stand in to play their part or something. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Yeah.
Of what we were told, and she said, no, I remember seeing the mother, not the daughter.
Thank you,
Can you
TTJ
speak
Tracy.
to whether Amanda Bearden has any acquaintances or friends, family in the area?
Like Investigator Kaysen said, we can't confirm that right now. I'm sure once we start getting some of these subpoenas and search warrants back on these phone records, we'll be able to give an answer on that at that time.
When was the last time Amanda told you all she's...
Today, playing the part of Alan Quartermain will be Brad Pitt. And then Alan Quartermain's real life person was like, what? I'll never get my job back, you asshole.
Saw her mom. And can you confirm a report that Debbie's husband, Steve, was working during the time of Debbie's disappearance?
All right, so what we can confirm as far as that question right there is that we know that Amanda talked on the phone with her mother on Saturday afternoon.
Okay. That's a huge thing right there, okay? You know, he didn't have the time. I wish he just would have had that already.
What we can confirm as far as that question right there is that we know that Amanda talked on the phone with her mother on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, that's the 10th. Saturday afternoon means, afternoon. I doubt it was like 12:08 or something. So that's interesting, right? She's talking to her mom during that time frame, maybe that she's up there buying. We don't know exactly what the afternoon means, but let's just pretend for a minute that she called her mom when her mom was either at or exiting or near, sometime around the time she was at the Family Dollar. How important is that? I mean, that is absolutely crazy. And then maybe you really could look at the text message differently, like something about what is the, I think I have it right here. Let me go to the main page. Is it on this one or? No, there it is. They are not going to. They're not going to. Let me go. Love you. They're not going to. It's funny how they're not going to let me go. Love you. How about this? They're not going to let me go, love. You there is a key. Forget that one. They are not going to let me. They're not going to let me. I'm trying to figure out a way that the text message seems, like it could mean something else that Amanda wasn't aware of. Like just, they're not going to let me. They're not going to let me go. Or maybe it said, they're not going to. And then let me go. I don't know. Shit. I think that's probably right the way they have it. It's just.
I have to look back at my notes from the actual report itself to be able to give you some kind of actual time for it. But the last time she spoke to her mom was on the phone. As far as Steve working, we have
what are you talking about,
video
Richard?
from Synovus Bank where he stated that he was working that day because of being a UGA game. He works for a private company called the Optimist Club that private contracts Synovus Bank's parking lot to park vehicles for the game day. They use that parking lot to provide parking for people coming to the game. We have confirmed that he was there from, I'm making sure I get the times right, from 9 to 4:06, 9 a.m. to 4:06 p.m.
I don't think
on
that's
Saturday.
at WNC Grant.
I'm Nora Almazon at WCHM. Do you have any reason to believe that she could have met someone there where her van was parked?
I'm going to go back to the answer as far as we're not ruling anything out. We're still trying to develop leads.
Right?
We're still
WNC
following
Grant,
up
who the hell knows?
on tips and information. We're still awaiting information back from search warrants and subpoenas that we have sent off. Once that, and for phone records as well, once that information comes back and we have time to actually analyze and
I think she typed it in because the amount of time you could. I'll show you here in a minute. So we're gonna go over the surveillance footage here in a minute. So hold up, let's wait and see that.
go through the details, then we'll have a better answer for that.
Investigate a case, and I know you said that the state medical examiner's autopsy report has not yet been
Yes, ma'am.
Completed, but in the report that you all released last week, you stated that Ms. Collier's body was found down a ravine and she was grasping a small tree in her hand. What does that indicate?
I mean, that's a lot of different indications. I'll let him kind of talk about that.
At this point, we're not sure what it indicates.
Could she have been alive?
Very possible that she could have been alive at the time she went down the ravine. But again, the autopsy will help us to narrow down time of death, help us to narrow down toxicology reports, help us to narrow down other things related to.
And investigators are out there. They're trying to get information on, when she had a meal, when did she eat, like earlier did she eat something. They might not be able to get that because if she ate at home or something, you wouldn't know exactly what time it was. But those are the kinds of things, like inside of her stomach, was there any undigested food that might lead back to a time period where she had eaten it. And then time of death starts right then. So they might be able to determine something like that.
To the body itself that we don't know at this time.
So would that indicate, if she were alive, that she survived being burned?
Very possible. Again, very preliminary in nature. Yes.
As far as the crime scene itself, is that private property? Is it public right of way? Is it U.S. Forest Service?
What's that up in the road ahead?
I believe it's U.S. National Forest land.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really quickly, Kara Spelter, 11 Alive.
Yes.
In reference to the crime scene, it was mentioned that the purse that she had at the store was found there. Were any other items recovered, including the poncho she bought?
Oh, yes. So all the items that were purchased as far as from the Family Dollar that we can tell right now, again, we're still going through the investigation, but we can confirm that the majority of those items were found on the crime scene.
You mentioned
Yes,
a
Mike.
minute ago that Amanda had just moved back to Georgia. Where was she and when did she move back?
So this is what we can confirm. She lived in Maryland with her brother. She lived in I think the same apartment complex, correct? With her brother up in Maryland. City, I can't tell you what the city is because I don't have my notes and stuff in front of me, but I do know it's Maryland. She moved down here on the 8th, which would have been Thursday, September 8th, when she moved down here to Georgia. So we know that she was down here at some point on Thursday. Yes, sir.
You're clear it's not a kidnapping, despite the fact of that note with the Venmo note. Is that something that has made things particularly murky? Because that note seems to give the impression something was going on.
I'll tell you straight up. Right here, as far as this investigation goes, it seems like once we get on track with something, like a curveball comes in out of nowhere.
See, isn't that crazy? That's exactly how it's been just as a regular person following this stuff.
That's why we're staying diligent and trying to stay on top of things and following up with leads, because we want to make sure we get facts, specifically to give y'all. We want to make sure that we have all the information before we start pushing forward.
Did Amanda give any theory as to what was going on, why she would get that kind of message, especially now that we know that message was probably sent in that 2 to 3 minute window after her getting out of the store?
Right. She has not given any kind of insight as far as to that. She has been asked, and again, I'd have to go back to my notes to give you the exact statement that she gave, but there's really no insight to it on who they are.
And where is the sheriff in all of this? We've not heard from Sheriff Terrell directly.
Yeah. I'll let his second in command.
So, as any good leader, the sheriff delegates certain authority, certain responsibilities to other people to be performed on his behalf. I have been appointed as the PIO for the sheriff's office, the public information officer, and I can assure you that Sheriff Terrell is the reason that we're doing this today. But I'm the spokesperson, and that's why he has allowed us to report to you and also to bring in the investigators that are actually working the case to give you as much accurate and detail as we can on the ongoing investigation.
Is he here in Haversham?
No, ma'am, he has been called out of state. So he is not here right now. So it is now 9:30. Again, I want to reiterate to everyone that this is a very complex investigation. It has a lot of unanswered questions. It also has a lot of issues that you don't see in a typical death investigation. For that reason, it is going to take a significant amount of time, well beyond what we've had in the past 19 days, to solve this crime.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're saying. That's what the whole point of that's why I'm saying, Dan, that she called her mom that afternoon and she would know. You know, that's the whole point of saying that. Yeah.
But we are working diligently to do that. We are working diligently to determine a motive, to find people or a person of interest, and to bring a resolution to this case. I'm
going to start calling him Damn
for
Carr.
Deborah Collier and her family. Thank you.
Colonel, may I make a statement?
Sure, absolutely.
Also, going off of what he said, as far as in a 19-day investigation, to kind of more elaborate on that. This investigation is...
It would make more sense, though, what time the afternoon call was, though.
It's not a sprint to the finish. We are going to make sure we take our time so that way when an arrest is made or when persons of interest are actually identified, that there will be ironclad information behind that and supporting our reasoning.
Yeah, they got back on the 8th.
We want to encourage...
She actually died within 2 days because they got back on the 8th, back into town, and then on the 10th, Amanda was killed. She didn't get killed overnight. I mean, not Amanda. Debbie was killed, so she didn't get back. She didn't die the next day on the 11th. I mean, I think the odds are... Don't most people think she died on the 10th, given the fact that the officer saw the vehicle parked right there at 5 o'clock? Do you think she was somehow, like, kept alive down there for hours and hours and hours, just hanging out? Cryptic message, I don't know. I don't think any... I don't know, the text message, the Venmo message is still weird no matter what, you guys, because it appears she's in the car by herself. Now, I think it's very possible now that there might be somebody in the back of the car with the tinted windows and so forth, right? That's what seems like that's a possibility. That there's somebody back there telling her, you know, I don't know, it's just something was really strange about it.
Anyone that has any information...
It doesn't make any sense, no matter how you look at it, right? She's sitting there, a cryptic is a bad person going to let her sit there and type something in? Like a warning to somebody at home? No, it doesn't work that way. In fact, they would have just had her sign on and they would send a text message.
To please reach out.
But if she sent it herself, and there was nobody else in the car, why would she feel nervous or scared to type something strange like that?
Following up on any tip and any lead that we could possibly get, my opinion, and I try to leave my opinions out of this, there's no such thing as bad information as far as given to us to follow up with, because we're going to follow up and find out whether it's relevant or whether it's factual or whether it's pertinent to our investigation. So please, if anyone has any information, do not hesitate to reach out and speak with us. You want me to go ahead and just give them put our phone number out? My direct line is 706-839-0560.
that's the one I
Investigator
called.
Garrison, who is my partner on this investigation, his phone number is 706-839-0559. Please contact us with any information. If anyone has had any kind of contact or has anything that might help us further our investigation.
And that
And
autopsy, when do you guys expect it to?
we're still waiting. We did have a meeting with them. They have prioritized things. So they initially gave us a 6-week time frame, but depending on how long it takes, once we get it back, we will have another update. I promise you that.
One last question, Chief Deputy Kogot, I had asked you this previously.
Yeah, it wasn't really
Why
that
was the GBI not
earth-shattering,
present
Ashley, but it's
to
something that I
lead
can't
this
say. So don't act like
Because
an idiot.
the Habersham
okay?
County Sheriff's
All right,
Office is a
thanks.
full-service sheriff's office. We are a full-service law enforcement agency. We have a complete division that is dedicated to investigating crimes that occur here in Habersham County. It is made up of professional.
Why do you make stupid comments like that, Ashley? You're just sort of embarrassing. Hey, please call us and we'll give you... No, you're just talking like a regular person off the record, okay? All right, so you sound like a total clown. Go cry or do something else somewhere else. You know?
Men and women, law enforcement officers who have received special training in death investigations and crime scene. However, as any law enforcement agency will do, we still reach out to our counterparts, be it the GBI, FBI, and private entities that have resources that can help us with situations or items that may need a little more expertise, that may need a little more knowledge than we have. We reach out to them, and all of our partners have been tremendous help and given us that guidance.
So all the
that
items
we
were
need
found at
when we call on them.
crime
So it's a total team effort. We are just the lead agency because we're responsible for investigating crimes here in Habersham County.
Oh, the video that you discovered, will that be available?
Yes, we will make the video available. We will have it to you. If you will leave us an email address to send, we will send it to you by close of business.
Yeah, so I'm on that list now, so hopefully I get stuff. So here's the footage. I made my own version of it because it's really wide angle. Let me try to look at it like this though. Yeah, it looks like on about the 1, 2. Let me zoom in. Well, actually, we're zoomed in a second here. Looks like there's one. Yeah, see, look how blurry it gets though. Like right at the beginning, it's freaking amazing. It's like right there. So it looks like she's in between the 3rd and 4th pole there. I was going to try to map out the actual movement in the parking lot just because I do stupid crap like that that doesn't really... Yeah, it's cool just to have it all marked down. That's how I do it. And I don't think that's outside. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. So she's probably in this spot right here, likely. So the one with the grease on it, I can still see it. Or they all have grease, but it's this one. Yeah. Yeah, actually, let me see. So there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th. You know, I think it's I think it's the 5th one in. I think. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's the one right there. I don't know. It could be the 6th one because maybe she's right off the 4th, but it's right there. Did I freeze up again? I don't know. No, it's just not playing good. Hold on. There we go. So anyways, this first part is sort of meaningless, right? So there's cars driving around, but we're not going to sleuth anything out there. A couple of cars leave. Okay, now she's pulling out. So we're going to go right to here. And let me go to the beginning here again. So this is, on this video, we're looking at 4249. And then, come on. It's such a huge video, I think it has a hard time processing it. 4249. And right there, it starts backing out, which is 49:42. So about 7 minutes after she leaves, so that would have been, let's see, she left there at 09. Add 7 minutes to that, and then you're at, let's see, what is that? 15 after, right? So no, 16. So 09 and then 7. That's 16. So now you're at 3:16. And when was the Venmo sent? 3:17. So watch how crazy this is. So she's backing up right here in the car really slowly. You know, maybe some people think maybe it's because it's a rental car. She doesn't know how to turn it or whatever. And then she doesn't leave. She literally drives and then parks right next to that yellow thing, maybe a spot or two in. And then she parks there, and that's when the Venmo message was sent. Okay? She sent the Venmo, or somebody in the vehicle using her phone, and she's in the vehicle alive. Okay? We can't tell if there's somebody sitting in the back or whatever, but somebody is using her phone inside of that vehicle, and she's alive, and they're sending the Venmo that had $2,385, right? You can see cars moving around. She, for some reason, stops right there. And it's almost exactly the amount of time. Watch this. Pretend that you're somebody. Here, watch when it pulls in there again. And pretend that you're messaging yourself. You could actually, I can't remember what it says, but so here she is. She's probably got the phone in her hand already. She's trying to work something, and she goes, I got to pull over. I got to pull over. Okay. Click, click, click. $3,385. Okay, let me put this message. TAY won't let, won't let me go. Love you. The key are in the blue flower pot. By the door. Send. Bing. And it's not too much long after that. So maybe if you're a slower typer, most adults that are older, we're not quick like the kids are, right? So that seems like almost exactly the amount of time it would take to type that in and send it. And guess what? It was about 3:17 and some odd seconds when she pulls out of there, maybe 3:18 or so, and boom, drives over here. Now that part was weird to me. People are saying there's birds on the ground, that's why it turned, but these aren't birds right over here. I mean, I was looking at it. That's just pixelation and shit. It said by the yellow pole. What yellow pole? There's people that just want to come up with something. When you look at this original footage from back here, I guess we don't get to see it, but yeah. So anyway, she ends up leaving. It was interesting because there was a black truck that also did the exact same maneuver. The truck that's, I think this truck right here, it drove around. So maybe there is something there, but I've looked at the video and there's no birds. Those are all just pixelations. These other cars are driving and nothing's flying off. There were birds over in this part of the parking lot, though. I don't know where people are coming up. You'd always tell it's a YouTuber brought that up somewhere, and that's why other people act like it's something that's actually real at that point. Okay, and then, not sure. There it is. That's the car pulling out right here. And starts heading down south. And there's some birds right there in the parking lot. Yeah, I guess I can't rule out birds there, but you don't see them. Those are pixels on the ground. And then this one's a little bit ridiculous. I think if you go to the beginning shot, see, this is a close-up of the car. It's 6K, this video here. It's crazy. You can see her moving around in the vehicle there. There's her red, definitely that's her red football jersey right there. And she, you know, maybe she's laying back in the seat. Don't really know. She's kind of just chilling out. There's nobody in this car. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. Then it gets really blurry for some reason. And then it does get clearer later. I can't remember where the spot is, but there's a clear spot in there. So there you go. But I did talk to the person about what one of the things Dan Carr was talking about the other day. You know, like he said, what do you think about the car pulling across the highway like that? And at the time, I didn't realize there was a divider, but I was like, yeah, you know, it is sort of weird to pull across the highway, but it's not like earth-shattering or anything. But then it is kind of weird when you realize that you have to come all the way down here and go back, because that's an intentional move, like you were looking for a particular spot. So the U-turn happens, and then the car comes up and it parks right around, you know, right there, and their bodies ended up being found down here. But what did she do after? You know, it does make it feel like that there was somebody in the car in the tinted portion of it, doesn't it? Because what would happen here? She was going to go to somebody else's place and heads down here, and then somehow they get into the vehicle with her. And how would that explain the Venmo then? If she's alone in the vehicle, can anybody explain that Venmo? And have it mean they won't let me go, like literally, in terms of being abducted? Anybody? I don't know. It's hard to say. Chicken Noodle, she didn't like her mom either. You still there, Dan? Oh, they're in front of the one store as you're coming in from the entrance. What are? When you say they are, what do you mean? What does that mean? They are. What's the they? Oh, yeah, speed bumps to me don't mean anything in the case. I'm just trying to figure out why they don't really just I don't think anybody looks and goes, oh my God, it's a speed bump. I'm going to go turn somewhere else, you know. I mean, I guess it could be, but that truck did a really crazy wide angle, right? So let's see, if you're right here, this is where, I think it was this one that, well, you can't see it. So this is right here is the one that she ended up going out of. And so, you know, you're driving this way. I think people thought these were birds in the picture, the video actually. But why you wouldn't be driving from over here and see those and go, oh wow, yeah, I don't want to go over those. I mean, that's ridiculous, you know. Like there's some right here too. It just doesn't seem like that's something you're driving like this. And then you go, oh crap, when you're about right here. I could see if there was speed bumps going like this. But you're right here, and then both cars drove around like this, the truck came in and then parked, and then she went around like this and then left. Do you think that's a reason to turn? I mean, both cars, 2 in a row like that? I don't know. What do you guys think? You actually see these kind of bumps, and you're over here, and you'll avoid them by going over here? Wow, that's some anal driving there, I'll tell you that. Whew. Wow. Yeah, but they both do the same exact... Let me show you this again. This is why I think it's weird. Okay? And when you watch it, you might think it's weird too. If not, then you don't think it's weird. Alright, so here we go. So here's the car. Now watch how it's driving over here. It's going down the second lane in. And then it actually stops. Like, oh, shit. Whoa. Okay, I'm going to go over here. But look how easy that would have been. And those birds aren't coming from over there. They're flying from over here. Look how easy that would have been. I mean, I don't understand that part. Maybe we can check it out again. There's some birds right there. That looks like a bird maybe. A couple here. There's a yellow cone. There's some birds here for sure. Yeah, like I don't see any birds walking around on the ground over here. But apparently she needed to turn and then go around over here. Those birds came from over this direction. And then drives out. But this truck did the same thing. It went like this and then around over here and then pulled in. So maybe there's something there. Who gives a shit? But I thought it was pretty strange that they both did the same thing. But there must be something there that was visually something people didn't want to go. And it doesn't seem like that would be the speed bumps because they're parallel with the road and they're sort of on the side of the lane. You know, something you might not really even notice that well. And there goes the vehicle. I just think it's strange that she's texting and then she pulls away and then stops, and you know, if there's something there then it's not weird. But the key points are that she backs out, she sits there for 6 or so minutes, and when I think it's interesting that actually might be the time that the hold on, what was that guy doing? That might be the time that Amanda called Debbie when she was sitting there for 6 minutes, then sent the Venmo, right? Doesn't that make a little sense? Like you get into your car, you've bought all these things, then Amanda calls Debbie, and then the Venmo's sent. We don't know though. Watch, it'll turn out that it was at 1:15 and hello? Why would she sit in the car for 6 minutes unless she maybe was talking to somebody? And if that's true, then obviously Amanda's lying about the... Unless... God. It's a really strange case. I mean, obviously she would know that she's on record talking to her mom moments before a Venmo was sent. And then she pretends, oh my God, she was abducted. But when you look at this video here, obviously there's either somebody in the car and she really was abducted, or she's absolutely by herself and not abducted at all. You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of people run to their car though. Clown. Okay. So I saw it for a second. I was like, oh, well, there's a guy running. But yeah, maybe that's the one, man. She left and he had to get in his car really quick to catch up to her. Look how clear that original video was, and then Huh. I wonder if it almost looks like there is a speed bump. I don't know what that is. Can't see it. That's the truck. See, remember, look at the truck up in the upper right. That truck did the same thing. Look at wide angle, and there was no birds that took off. So it wasn't birds. And he wasn't going to go over any speed bumps. So what was the point of that? You get what I'm saying? Like, this truck's driving exactly where Amanda was. Exactly. Right here. I mean, Debbie. And then goes like this, goes around over here, maybe because trucks are bigger, but you could still be just over here on the right and then turn in. I don't know, it's one of those things I just want the answer for, even though it probably means absolutely nothing. Okay, here's the guy. Maybe it's because it's raining. Maybe it looks kind of like it's wet out there. He goes running out to his car. And he runs around to the back of it, it looks like. Oh, and it drove away, yeah. So that person got into the passenger seat. They don't seem like they're in a particular hurry. Plus, they go over to McDonald's. So, yeah, probably I don't think that that's related. Or they went to the other exit there. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Why'd the guy in the truck? So the guy in the truck also had chronic back pain. Yeah, maybe she did that for that reason, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't bother me that the lady in the red left behind her. People are just looking for things to try to correlate to something. You know, it's just like, I mean, people, you know, there's other people there. Can't they leave too? All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Man, but crazy day again. Awesome. 100K. We're now at 101 and $30. $101,030. You guys absolutely kick some ass. I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting my channel. Hit the like, subscribe, share, do all those kind of things. If yeah, it does make it seem like there's a lot of space, but that is kind of a lot. But here's the thing, Dan. There was not really any cars in there, so there is more space. So let's look at that again really quick. So look over there. There's just the one van over here, right there. So if you just look at that, there's only one van, and these cars are parked on the other side. So let's see where that little green pole is right there. Okay, that's right here. So those cars are parked right over on this side. So this entire area here is open. There's not even cars right there. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you can't see shit. God damn it. I was ready to move on. I was getting out of here. All right, so let's do this back to the video again. See, in this video right here, you got the little green sign, and then 3 cars are on this side of it, right? So if we open up the Google Earth shot, There's the green sign, and all those cars are here. This one isn't there. So that means this whole section is open. Then over here, by this pole, there is, yeah, I can see it right there. There's one car there. So that would be like all these are gone, but except for that one. So this wouldn't be here. So there's this huge space in there, and they could have drove in and then curved around and then pulled in, right? So that's what I'm saying. So either way, it's just kind of just what's odd is that both of them did it. You know, it's like that either is somebody was avoiding the first one wasn't weird, but then the second one avoiding the pickup truck, because in some ways this is what I found a little bit interesting about it is this. Watch, let me move it all the way forward. This is the full shot here. This is the only angle you can see it from. Okay, so not yet. Right here. So look at how this is kind of odd. So watch this. This is Debbie backing up. Now look, here comes the black pickup truck, and then she's stopping. Right? And then the black pickup truck isn't really going that quick, and it's almost like she's saying, ooh, you know. But it seems more likely she's pulling over to send the Venmo. Then the black pickup truck goes over here. And then look how it easily could fit in there. And it just goes, yeah, and then does this thing. I don't know why this car is doing that. To get a straight-on shot into a parking spot, I guess. But you could have easily done that over here. And then pulls in nose-to-nose with this car. And then Amanda's still over here. See, Amanda's still parked here, filling out the Venmo. And she's probably just now sending it off and about ready to pull away here. And here she goes. So now, previously, if you want to pretend that she saw the black pickup truck and was nervous of the pickup truck, and that's why she stopped over here and sent the Venmo, you might think that. And here she is. She drives, and then she goes, oh, shit, the car's right there. She slows down. And then it's like, yeah, I'm going to go over this way. And then she goes around over here, and then she exits out onto the freeway. So that's the part that's a little strange, but it could absolutely mean nothing at all. She seems like she was pulling over to send the Venmo, doesn't it? So, anyways. Got a lot of red cars out there. Yeah, we're probably thinking the same thing, Dan. Now, that was 3 shows today. That's crazy. God. Okay, so thank you to Tina Susser, Regina Carter, Sherlock Hemlock, Amber Maiden, Tamara, Not Today But Tamara, Cairo, Kathy Friedenmaker, Marilyn Riley, Eugenie, Carolyn EHS, Lane Doon, Tina Susser, One Sly Angel, Mary Glaviano, Candalee Woodward Stone, Lori Fisher, Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history, Jody H, Barbara Ann, Lynn, be safe over there, Lynn, Jiggy England, Vicky H, H Doc, Sherlock Hemlock, Un Petit, something or other. Okay, and then Bridget Bauman, Cheyenne R, Gwendolyn B, Carolyn EHS, Apocalypse Fra, A Blank Slate, Mag, Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal, the longest name in YouTube history. Although that's a truth. It's not really a... WNC Granny, Cairo, Annabelle Stell, Gwendolyn B, Tamara, not today, but Tamara, Georgina Stoliker, Jacqueline Keeley, Jessica Schubach, Chasing Truth, Gwendolyn B, Cindy Leon, Bama Forever, Karen M, Karen Shank Chapman, Tamara, Abby Jello, Bama Forever Again, Jerry Injargiola, K-Dog, Romeo's Heart, Emily Flotilla, Treva McCoy, Kim F. Sharp Harp, Freebird Forever, Mountain Jam 71, and Living It, as in living the dream. I don't know, I like playing that thing. Then on PayPal, we've got Diane Findley, Stacy Millicey, Plato, Mag, very generous. Thank you guys very much. It's just amazing. Elizabeth Jensen, I'll make sure I'm saying the name. Nicole Bennett, Mag again, thank you. Let's see, Miss Angels, and Lillian and Nancy, WNC Granny, Fury DNZ, and then Sarah Terry, excuse me, and then Just a Friend, Kenneth Brown, John Coonan, Paulette Leonard, Marine Co. Let's see, Jill, Jill Hines, thank you very much. And then Marine Co. again, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Your Gypsy. Not Your Average Chick. Thank you. Sarah Kinder. Very cool. And Southern Mom. Thank you very much. Pam Cakes. Thank you. TTJO Tracy. There you go. Boom. So thank you guys. Awesome. Now we got to do the spin here, which is just going to be a ridiculously, like, let's see what happens. Does that even fit in there? Okay. This is nuts. Look at that thing. Jeez. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the spin now for the, let's see. We'll do the, it could be the Everything mug, a free card mug with a sketch, and then we'll do 2 notebooks, all right? Okay. Here we go, everybody. Oh, a tumbler? That'd be cool. Yeah, how about a tumbler? The Everything tumbler, free card mug with a sketch, and 2 notebooks. I like that. There we go. Okay, here comes the spin. This is for the tumbler. The tumblers are cool, too. Kenneth Brown. the Tumblr. All right, now this one is for the the free card mug with a sketch on it. Cheyenne R. There you go, Cheyenne R. Maybe we'll do one more of those. Free cart mug with a sketch. Tamara. Right. And now we'll do 2 notebooks. Here we go. Linda Howe, as in Linda Moulton Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. There you go, Linda Howe. A notebook. And here we go. Got to keep a collection of them. Keep filling them out with the show notes. Jessica Schubach. There we go, Jessica Schubach with the other notebook. Very cool, very cool. All right, you guys, that's it. Tomorrow we'll have to do the moderator spin. All right. But anyways, thank you guys very much for incredible, amazing achievement for, all the freaks and the channel in general. To get to $100,000, it's like a regular channel where there's income and have to pay taxes and all that stuff. But it's amazing that it was able to, still able, even with all that, with the generosity of all the freaks, that we as a channel, basically from bulk, that's the cool part about it, is that we were able to, we've donated $101,030 since January 2020 because of the generosity of all the freaks, and I just do the show, okay? So it's really cool, sort of the friendships that we have with various professionals out there, and it allows us to do things that are beyond what you see elsewhere, okay? So it's pretty cool, pretty amazing. It'd be it'd be really amazing if all the other channels that have their own supporters would try to do something mildly similar, and it'd be neat then if we could do like the coalition, we've done 100,000, somebody else did 22, these guys did 75, that over the years, and it doesn't count doing. I'm talking about from the income from the channel, right? Like a creator doing a fundraiser, they're not putting any skin in the game at all at that point. They're just doing we're doing a fundraiser, yay, and then everybody else sends it, and then they send it in and they say, hey, I raised this amount. Well, the difference is on this case, it's literally out of the income from the channel. So there's a big difference there. So that's what would be cool is if there was a bigger coalition of people doing that and we got up into the millions. Wouldn't that be crazy? So that would be awesome. Anyways, I really appreciate all of you guys. I know sometimes I'm like, Gray, you're so mean. But you guys are freaking awesome. And thanks for keeping it going. But guess what, everybody? Tomorrow is the first day of the next month. Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys so much. And it's been awesome. We're just going to keep on trucking. Oh, wait, I didn't add to the total though. Hold on one second. I do have to fix that. So what are we at here? Should be pretty easy. There it is. So now we're at 36 this year. 530, right? Wow, so we got 3 more months left, man. We could do, if we did like 333, we're way ahead of last year. We're gonna just blow away last year. Look at this. So we did in 2020, we did 22,000. 2021, 42.5, and hell, I mean, if we have a similar month next month, we'd be at 40,000. 530 if we did exactly the same. Actually, we did 4,500 this month. So if we did 4,500, we'd be at 41,000 after next month. We'd be just barely behind the year before. And then there's still 2 more months to go after that, man. Remember the goal was like maybe hit 50 this year? I wonder if that's still, I think that's actually almost doable, right? Like if we went 444, that'd be 48 something, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. 333 would be good too. Yeah. Awesome, freaks. All right, you guys, thank you very much for everything. You guys are the engine that keeps the channel going. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And for all the people that won during the show, send in an email to me with your address and what you won. If you happen to win the hoodie, then you know, send me the size and whatnot and the color, which hoodie you want. All right, everybody, thank you very much. We're gonna keep on following this case. It seems like every day there's something new. I kind of think there's going to be a little bit of a lull coming up here, though. So hopefully we can get on to some other things. Every time I was trying to move on to something else, boom, there's something else that came out that you have to work into the puzzle. Yeah, so, all right. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6, and a...
Yeah, I've been doing this.
That almost plays a little bit better now, too, doesn't it?
And during this whole time,
not one freeze tonight on the show.
That is a crime dissector.
Just kidding.
Like rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grail's gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector,
and I'm always gonna be a pop protector.
fool deflector, interceptor,
and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector.
A inspector with all respect, ya.
Just remember, I'm a fucking
check.
I have no agenda. I'm a pretender.
And I'll give it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you
on a mission to
reveal the offender.
Hey, good job, Mary Lou. Way to, sing along.
Hey, thanks, Gray. Wow, you're not so bad after all. I was thinking about the time when...
Would you just? Nobody cares about the story, Mary Lou.
I care about the story, Gray.
Me too. I want to hear Mary Lou's story.
Yeah, Gray, I want to tell the story.
Well, you're not going to tell the story. I don't want you to tell the story.
Well, Gray, remember that one time when you went to the bar and there was a girl behind the bar, the waitress, and the bartender, and you thought, wow, she's so cute and everything. And then she came and sat at your table, and then you were sitting there talking to her. Things seemed to be going well. And then you told her, wow, you're so pretty. Your eyes look like a lizard. You're an idiot, Gray.
Yeah, Gray, that really wasn't that smart.
Yeah, Gray, that was absolutely ludicrous. Why the hell would you ever say something like that?
Well, I was saying it because I thought she had exotic eyes, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. boy, did she really miss out.
Yeah.
God, see, you guys think I'm mean? You don't think that these idiots are mean right here? I mean, listen to them. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And be safe out there. And thanks again, everybody. You guys are awesome.